The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
We just want to take a moment to say thank you to the men and women who risk their lives every day to protect ours.
That's right, because today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day.
This is Frank Drebin, Police Squad. Throw down your guns and come on out with your hands up. Or come on out, then throw down your guns. Whichever way you want to do it.
We are police officers. I'm gonna reach for my badge, okay?
I blow you, then I blow you.
Blow me? What the f*** now?
Hey, freeze, bitch!
You freeze, bitch.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, y'all, it's showtime.
Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to the suddenly short-handed 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. It's just us dudes today.
Just some of us dudes. Not even all of us dudes. Not even all the normal dudes.
Ashley is shockingly sick, so she stayed home, and Dana has also called in sick.
I didn't know Ashley was sick, too. I was just calling her thinking that she didn't come in.
Oh, she didn't put you on the text chain?
No.
She texted this morning saying she's not feeling good.
So, we hope the both of them start feeling better, but two things I think need to be mentioned on the subject. I've never met two people with such fragile immune systems in my life.
They do get sick all the time.
It's remarkable how often the both of them are sick.
Didn't Dana just call in sick last week? Or within the last couple weeks, I thought he was sick, too.
Yeah, it was right before Christmas.
They're having an affair, aren't they?
They must be.
I think Ashley's giving him whatever she used to have constant.
It crossed my mind.
Well, I mean, they're in the studio with me all the time, and I'm not sick.
You don't really often get very sick. You never miss a day.
Nope.
Hey, everybody comes down with something or another once in a while. Don't get me wrong, and I'm likely next. But those two need to see a specialist. I mean, what are you, licking the handrails at the airport? What are you doing with your free time? Why are they both always sick?
Yesterday we mentioned to Dana, you sound sick. And he seemed a little defensive about it.
Immediately once I got his text saying he had COVID, that's what ran through my mind was he just said he wasn't sick.
And he kind of got pissy about it yesterday, didn't he? We mentioned it, and he's almost offended.
Yeah.
I'm not sick. It's just this little thing I've had for a while.
Wapples never missed a day. Almost never.
Yeah, there was, I think I've missed 4 days in total, and that's because I had a small tear in my stomach, so I was puking up blood.
Well, how long ago was that? I don't remember that at all. That's hilarious.
4 days in total in how many years?
Oh, I've been here 11 years now. And, God.
I don't remember when you tore your stomach open and you were bleeding.
I don't remember that either.
That had to have been like 7 years ago.
Was it like a hardcore ab workout that did it to you? What happened?
Yeah, because I'm always working on my abs.
Was it an abdominal exercise?
No, I was like sick, and then I kept throwing up, and then I guess I had this tear, and because I was throwing up, it got bigger and bigger.
Big fat tear in his little belly, Josh.
I know, that's terrible.
Almost.
We'd be so screwed if you weren't here. You're the only one that knows how to run all that stuff, when to play the commercials, that kind of thing.
Don't get me wrong. There are times when you are sick, but you never get sick.
I love.
Do you follow what I'm saying there?
I love being sick.
You're kind of a guy that is sick.
Also, I think now is a perfect time to mention again one of the most fascinating facts about Josh's life, my life partner over there, Cubby. He never missed a single day of school for a sickness or otherwise. Never missed a day.
That's a sickness right there.
And you know what? The only sick days I've missed were company ordered. I had to stay home.
You're talking about since
COVID, yeah. This person said they got COVID 3 times since November?
That's possible.
Maybe you got long COVID. I thought you get it once, you got a few months off. Yeah, Dana's at number 4.
I don't know how it works. He's had COVID now 4 times.
Dana, yeah, he's winning the COVID league we've got here at the studio.
By a landslide. And you're right, it was interesting yesterday. How did he not hear himself? He sounded awful yesterday. He comes on the air and it's
Yeah, over the weekend, I suppose, I went out with some friends and I had some dinner.
And we said, dude, you sound terrible. I do? You know what I mean? He didn't. It happens.
People are agreeing, Wapple, that you're sick.
Oh, hell yeah.
You definitely are.
I still dig that, hearing that story now and again, Josh, how you never missed a single day of school from kindergarten all the effing way through the final.
Now, I just missed like the first class of maybe third grade when I ripped the top of my tongue off, not believing you could freeze it to a pole. I learned you can freeze it to a stop sign pole.
What did you say? You missed the first half of...
Not even the first... It was like the first...
20 minutes?
Yeah,
that
not necessarily count. All classes, right? You're in the same homeroom or whatever. But
it doesn't count. No, that's wildly impressive.
I always faked being sick when I was in kindergarten.
You faked being sick when you were in kindergarten?
Yeah. Because
there was something about that level that was a little too challenging for you, or what?
No, I never wanted to go to SAC, which was like the after-class daycare. You know, that they had?
Yep.
Because in kindergarten, you only went either AM or PM.
Right.
We had full day. There wasn't a choice at our school, yeah.
Yeah, so I went AM, and then, my parents were working, so then I would go to SAC.
There was something about the after-school care that you didn't...
Yeah, I just wanted to go home.
So you pissed and moaned and cried and kicked and screamed, and your folks, what, did they organize someone to come get you?
No, I just always had to go to SAC.
Oh, you had to go, but you would skip a lot of days. You would fake being sick because you hated it so much.
Yep.
What didn't you like about it? I would think you just kind of hang out with the other folks.
Yeah, that's what I don't get anymore because, you would have nap time. You would have your, chocolate milk snack, and then, you'd just run around the playground.
Were the cool kids picking on you or something? That's a little young for the cool kids to be picking on you. Kindergarten's a little young for that type of behavior.
Maybe I just wasn't invited. Just always sat by myself in the sandbox.
That's probably what it was. You were excluded. Yep. You weren't sick back then like you are now. Nitromania Jesus has a good memory. Wapple never misses work unless it's the most important radio advertising day of the year when you missed Black Friday a few years ago.
I did do that.
Slept right through it.
Yep.
Of course, you've never slept through a show. I don't think you've ever even been late for sleeping in.
Yeah.
And it's, as Nitro Mania Jesus said, the most important day for radio advertising.
Yeah. Wasn't that a deal where you got drunk or something like that? Or were you mad at the radio station at the time? Was it on purpose that you missed that?
It was even worse. I didn't even drink at all because I had Thanksgiving with my families, and then I didn't drink because I knew I had to wake up and do the show, and I just slept through my alarm.
Simple as that. I thought you were pissed off at us or something like that.
No, that was a different time.
Yeah, what happened was I think you were punishing yourself so much, and you felt terrible about it, and it's not like you. You're not irresponsible like that. And I think what happened was you got pissy when the boss called because you were already punishing yourself enough and you didn't need to hear it from anybody else.
Yeah.
That's what got you in trouble.
Yep.
That attitude afterwards. You can't make up those commercials. That's it. All the Black Friday sales done on Saturday.
You needed to be here the day after Thanksgiving because that's Black Friday, and we had a lot of very expensive ads to run on the radio, but you never showed. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. Did you show up at all?
I showed up for like the last hour. Or like half hour.
Yeah, people were ready to fire you.
Oh, yeah.
We talked them down. Interesting text from Tonka Tig Welding Jesus. I think we can all relate to this. He said, I faked sick a lot in school growing up, and I didn't care. But then when I went to Dunwoody, when I actually had to pay for it, I got an achievement award for not missing one single day.
That's awesome. I was the opposite, the complete opposite. Never missed a day through my senior year, and then once I went to Moorhead for just a semester or whatever it was, and then I decided, coming back from a long-distance relationship for a girlfriend, I decided to come back. That relationship lasted maybe 3 days when we both came back, but I went to Normandale, and I missed a day and realized, wow, nobody cares in college if you don't show up.
Right.
And then I was so dumb, I would still go to school, and then I would play ping pong all day.
Right.
That's all I did. And I did this for, I don't know, maybe a year. And so I ended up paying for college a lot longer than you should for a 2-year degree. It was the dumbest thing ever.
Well, okay, fine. So you wasted some money, and maybe it wasn't, the smartest decision on your part, but I think you deserved that F-off time after not missing a single day from kindergarten all the way through high school. You deserved some F-off. A good year of F-ing off and who cares and not going to class. Good for you. I'm glad you were able to accomplish that.
I figured it's on me, and if nobody's going to yell at me, well, why wouldn't I just? But the fact that I could have just went to class and slept through it and maybe just got credit for showing up. Didn't do anything.
I totally understand every word of what Tonka Tig Welding Jesus just said, where he said he faked sick a lot in school, didn't care, but when he had to start paying for it, he dialed in.
That's the smart way to do it.
I was a horrible, horrible student. Here's the thing. I didn't miss a lot of school because I loved school. The social aspect of it, I loved it. But you couldn't count on me once I got to school. You really couldn't count on me actually entering the classroom. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. I skipped a lot of school. We would leave school and go to somebody's house. I skipped a lot of classes, but I would go there. And if there was something going on, some fun shenanigans in the hallway, if I found somebody I could F off with for a few hours and not go to class, I would stay at school. It was just, that's where all the girls were. So I guess I was a little different in a sense that I almost always showed up at school. You just couldn't always count on me going to class. But I was a terrible student. I really honestly shouldn't have graduated when I did. In 9th grade, I should have been held back, but they passed me along. But once I went to Brown Institute to get into this miserable business, I was a perfect student. Never missed, paid attention, did everything that was asked of me because it was on my ass. I had to pay the bills on that sumbitch.
Yeah, you guys are smarter than I am. I figured I got the rest of my life to pay that back. What do I care? This person says they missed 256 days in 4 years of high school.
256 days in 4 years?
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's almost straight up a full year you just missed.
Is there a story behind that? There's got to be a story behind that.
Is it just, you just couldn't even back then?
Because, things have changed. You can't get away with that anymore. That must be an older person. Or they had a terrible disease or they went to juvenile hall or something. I got to hear more on that story because when Josh and me and Josh's age people, you could get away with, they really didn't care if you showed up or not. I found that out firsthand.
They definitely did at my school. And we had really small classes too. So if you were gone, it was obvious.
Sure, they'd pull you into the principal's office once in a while and reprimand you and say, you're going to fail or we'll hold you back. They would throw those threats at you, but they really didn't care. Not at my school. It shocked me 5-6 years after I got out of high school. Some of my buddies' younger brothers and sisters were now in high school at this point. And I heard how strict they were about skipping school or missing school. I couldn't believe it. It was something along the lines of if you miss 3 days, you're suspended. And if you miss 3 more, you're expelled. It was like it was a very, very short leash. So that person who missed 256 days of school in 4 years, there must be some kind of a side story, or it was 35 to 40 years ago.
Ninja Turtle Nutcase Jesus was similar to me in the way that he skipped one class in high school and felt terrible. Just one class all through high school. Then he went to an expensive art school, skipped at least a class a week, saying he was sick, when in reality he just wanted to smoke pot, drink beer, and go disc golfing with his friends. And as I mentioned, so I would go to Normandale and play ping pong every day for about a year. And people are asking if I got good. The answer to that is no. Still not good. Didn't matter. Didn't matter that I was playing every day. And I was playing up to some competition that was really good. Didn't pick up anything. Still not good. But I could beat my brother, who's much better than I am, but he tries to get fancy, trick shots, put spin on it, and I can't do anything like that.
You stuck to the fundamentals.
That's it. Just a forehand. That's all I got is a forehand, and I can beat him over half the time because he's getting too fancy.
Trying to do little lob shots.
You want to hear your pimp of the day so far? As people are texting in on, how they behaved at school. Did they skip a lot of days? Did they have a lot of sick days? If you're just tuning in, Ashley and Dana will not be showing up today, and God knows when we'll see them again. Both of them are sick. They're always sick. So people are texting in on sick days and skipping school and this and that. Here's your pimp of the day from your friendly neighborhood garbage man. He says, I went to Wayzata High School. Hey, so did I. Friendly neighborhood garbage man. What year did you get out of there? Text me back. But anyway, your friendly neighborhood garbage man says, I went to Wayzata High School. I would call myself in sick from my older girlfriend's bed in Eden Prairie. Pimp of the day right there.
SRT God Jesus got a 0.00 GPA in 7th grade and said, yes, I had to redo 7th grade. We had a kid in our class that was held back. It was 3rd grade. He was held back from 4th grade. So by the time we caught up, I remember he was kind of like sort of a star in a way, like kind of a bad boy that he got held back. I mean, I had never heard of that before. Never heard anything like that.
I remember a few kids who were held back in grade school, but I don't remember any beyond that. The kids who didn't give an F, who were even less interested in education than I was, those kids would just quit. But I remember stories of kids being held back in grade school.
We never had kids held back.
It was just the one for us.
They wanted to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the case. They just wanted to get the hell out of there.
Crazy Fish Guy Jesus said his great uncle only went to high school for one day. He said he walked in, someone knocked his stuff out of his hands, walked out, never went back. He said, I'm not putting up with this.
Man, here's a guy who knows his limits, I guess.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, Josh, you'd be no good at this conversation on the topic of sick days and such. There were folks on the internet talking about their sick day routines when they were a kid. Now, you couldn't comment on that, Josh, because you never missed a day. Like I said, I really loved school, and I loved hanging out with my buddies and raising hell up and down the hallways. Even if we didn't go to class, I loved school. So I don't think I didn't take enough sick days or stay home enough to where I ever formed a routine. What about you, Wapple?
Yeah, I always remember I was at home early enough, so you got to watch The Price is Right on the couch.
All right, that's mentioned in here. Is that the show that Bob Barker?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember wanting to stay home for that. The commune I grew up in, my grandma lived with us, and she would watch that religiously every day. And it was something that I loved watching with her. So there were times I thought, man, I wish I could just stay home and watch that like we do in the summertime.
There are a lot of folks in this article talking about their sick day routines from when they were young, and many of them mention Bob Barker.
Yeah, and then usually I would take a nap and kind of wake up. The TV would still be on, so then you catch like maybe a half hour of like, what was it? What was the soap opera show? Like Days of Our Lives or whatever it was.
I never tuned into such things, but sure, that was a big one.
I think it was Young and the Restless after. Yeah, because my grandma, she loved those. So she'd just keep it on Channel 4.
Yep.
And we'd end up watching all those with her.
Yeah, and then I think it was like Maury show. I got into the Maury show.
Maury Povich?
Yeah, towards the afternoon. And then Malcolm in the Middle. That was kind of a TV show.
So you had a bit of a routine with the television shows. I certainly had a routine for what I watched after school was over. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my buddies.
Malcolm in the Middle was always what I had to watch.
My folks' place was kind of a lawless, no rules zone. So a lot of my pals would come over directly after high school, and we would get into the beer and watch. It was. I wish I could remember the order of things now. But anyway, here are some folks, their sick day routines when they were kids. Some kids had it friggin' made. Here's a individual who said, my family got high-speed internet when I was 13, so I'll give you one effing guess what I did when I was homesick. Whacking off all day long. Video games. This individual says it was crazy how often I, quote, got sick the day or two after I got a brand new video game. Another person says, I lived in an apartment complex. There was a boy down the hall in the same grade, so we would coordinate sick days where we'd fake it. Oh, listen to this. Okay. They'd coordinate their sick days where they would both fake it together because they lived down the hall from each other. This one wraps up by saying, instead of science experiments, there were other types of experimentation going on in those days.
Anatomy.
I'll tell you what. I'd go through all my dad's porn mags is another entry into this conversation on your sick day routine. Oh, yeah, as we got a little older, I might have gone through my brother's room once or twice to see if he had some porno movies in there.
Did you strike gold at any time?
It happened. It happened. I would smoke my older brother's pot when I was faking a sick day or a real sick day. This person would smoke their older brother's pot. They found out where their older brother kept the weed. Then there's a side story here about how his older brother caught on to this, and his older brother brought his weed with him to high school, and he got busted, and he almost got expelled. So the younger brother smoking up the older brother's weed caused the older brother to bring his weed to school, and he almost got expelled for that.
He said he had a drug-sniffing dog there, right? Got busted.
All right, there happened to be a drug-sniffing dog at school that day. Holy balls, that's terrible luck.
Didn't you run into that issue, Wapple?
Yeah, I did.
And you got busted for that, right?
Yeah, I did. And then I had to go to treatment. Yep.
The drug-sniffing dog showed up at your high school and busted you with marijuana cigarettes?
Yeah, yep.
That must have been funny for everybody else involved.
Yeah, like me and my buddy shared a parking pass, so like the hit was on his car because he had shake in his car. So that's
they checked the cars too. I was just picturing the lockers.
Yeah. No,
He had what in his car?
Shake. So like
what is shake?
Like the ends of a bag. You know the like crumbles.
Oh,
like like
it's a marijuana term.
Yeah, it's like cookie crumbs almost. But of weed. So that was just around his car, and then the dog sniffed that. And then he got pulled down, and then I got pulled down. He would
open up his car door and tap out his 1E or whatever. Is that what you're saying? So there was...
No, like when you would pack a bowl or you would roll a joint, sometimes some of the weed falls out on your floor mat of the car.
And then outside the vehicle. I thought you said outside the vehicle.
No, in the vehicle.
In the vehicle.
Yeah, so that's how the dog got the hit on the car, and then I got pulled down, and then I had weed on me.
All right.
Yeah. Treatment.
We never had a... See, that's just... Were there past problems at your school? Why was there a drug-sniffing dog ever at your school? Was it there for some kind of a demonstration?
Oh, no. We had dogs that came to our school at least 4 to 5 times a year.
We never had that.
Yeah, we didn't know what day it was, obviously. They'd try to bust people. Yeah.
See, again, I think that goes back to, in our generation, Josh and myself, they didn't care enough to do that. There was plenty of marijuana going around our high school, but I don't think they ever would have made the effort to, let's get a drug-sniffing dog in here? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and then some people got in really bad trouble if it was like hunting season, because I went to Forest Lake, so they would go duck hunting before school, and then they would throw their shotguns in the back of the pickup truck. So then if the dog gets hit on the car, then they have to open everything up, and now they have a gun on school grounds, and that's a whole different thing.
That's being a little,
drama.
That's pretty dramatic right there. I vividly remember being high in a buddy's car in the school parking lot. We're smoking grass in the car, and one of the parking lot attendants would walk up and, what are you guys doing here? It was so obvious what the hell we were doing. And we'd say, well, we got an hour off, so we're just chilling in here listening to the radio. And the parking lot attendant would say, all right. You know what I mean? They just didn't make the effort. Things changed, and suddenly there was a crackdown on all types of high school kid behavior, I guess. Wrapping up this conversation on sick day routines, well, a couple folks mentioned, they'd watch old movies on VHS when they'd have a sick day to themselves. But some kids didn't have it so good. The final here. This would be Terrible. A dude or a lady, I'm not sure, said my parents guarded against any of us having any sort of fun when we were sick and missing school. They'd take the batteries out of the remotes and lock up my video game controllers. It was more fun just to go to school than to fake sickness. Jesus.
That was the rule at our house.
What?
That's the rule. It avoids
what?
faking it, that's for sure.
What did they do?
What do you mean?
The rule at your house.
The rule is if you're homesick, you're homesick. You got to, if you're feeling good enough to do anything, you should be doing homework or something.
So would they take the remotes out of the...
Well, no, we never went that extreme, but my wife was a stay-at-home mom, so, she was there kind of guarding it.
Oh, you're talking about you as a parent.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I didn't have to worry. I never... My parents, if I was sick, I don't think they'd even let me stay home.
So you as a parent, if my godson says I'm sick, he better stay in bed all day long. If he gets up to watch TV, then you say, well, you're feeling well enough to watch TV, you can go to school.
It's easy enough when you say, yeah, okay, you can stay home and read. All of a sudden, you start to feel a little better. And you're going to go to school, see your buddies.
Well, and it sounds the way Josh grew up with everyone living at his house, there'd be nothing to do for you if you were sick, right?
He couldn't get away with Jack Squad.
Well, yeah, we didn't have like video games or anything like that. We had one TV, and like I mentioned, my grandma she'd hog that all the time.
Yeah, and then I could see if you tried to go outside, your dad would say what you tell your son, well, if you're outside playing with your friends, you got to be good enough to go to school.
Yeah, you're feeling fine. You should be able to go to school.
Yeah.
Man, that would... Again, I didn't miss a lot of school, but... Boy, it really would have sucked to have a stay-at-home parent. Oh, that would have sucked. Like you just said, Josh, your wife is home a lot of the time, so the kids can't get away with Jack-Ola. If I did miss a day, that was just so wonderful to have the whole house to myself. Mom didn't get home till 7 o'clock at night. I could do any damn thing I wanted. Sucked. Must have really sucked for you folks who had stay-at-home parents. I remember how jealous my brother and sister would be if I was legitimately sick or faking the sickness. How jealous they would be because they knew that I was going to get what they craved also so badly. The house all to themselves. In our intro today, Josh, what do we got? Some kind of honorary cops day happening today?
Yeah, National Law Enforcement Day or Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So it happens January 9th each year. We show support to those that crush crime and keep us safe. And it recognizes those that put their lives on the line every day for the community.
Well,
so it's not said enough. You are so appreciated by the majority of us.
Absolutely.
Except those drug-sniffing dogs.
Yeah, maybe Wapple every once in a while has an issue. But us law-abiding citizens certainly do appreciate it. You show up when we're at our worst, and we're so glad you're out there.
Some of us citizens are behind you all the way, officer. What movie, 48 Hours? This program's got your back, members of law enforcement. We do. We appreciate you very much. Yeah, thanks for making us aware of that, Josh.
We don't have the guts or balls to do it, and we're so glad you guys do.
Mm-hmm. Hell no, we don't. All right, again, we're shorthanded today. If you're wondering, where's Smashley? Where's Dana? They're both friggin' sick. SAWFT, soft. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The NFL playoffs are here, and it all starts on January 13th with Super Wildcard Weekend.
Give me everything you got!
12 teams, 6 games, 3 days, and one epic weekend that kicks off with a Saturday doubleheader, followed by a Sunday tripleheader, and ends with a Wildcard Monday.
Unbelievable!
The road to Super Bowl 58 starts now. Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon. Visit NFL.com/schedule for ways to watch.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, fair enough. I got some messages I want to throw your way, text messages from our wonderful listening audience before we deep throat the stupid news here. Ashley and Dana, the two people with the least effective immune systems in town, are both out sick today. So we started talking about sick days when we were young. Real ones, fake ones. Got some great text messages. As I mentioned, some kids didn't have it so great when they took a real or a fake sick day from school. You got a stay-at-home friggin' stupid parent hanging around all day long. God, what a nightmare. I'm so lucky I didn't have that problem. But, I mean, listen to this. Ag engineering Jesus. His dad would call him in sick to school so he could farm.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I could see that.
That's tough. That's tough. But, you know, what have we said before? A lot of farmers out there, you wonder why they have such big families? They're just making more workers.
Maybe he liked it. I mean, maybe he
did.
Thought it was great.
Dad would think to himself, hey, we got a lot of work to do around here. You're not going to school tomorrow. You're going to stay home and farm. That's a different life. We also got on the topic of doing drugs at school, smoking grass and such. Wapple got busted at school by a drug-sniffing dog. And, I mean, I was saying earlier, I don't think that when I was in high school that our school would have made that kind of an effort. They didn't take marijuana very seriously. There was pot everywhere. They knew kids were smoking it before school, during school. They just didn't. Got a text from Magic Playing Machinist Jesus. He says, he's around my age, obviously. He said, I don't think local cops had drug-sniffing dogs back in our day. He says, I don't remember Mound High School ever having any canine units. And by God, if they ever needed them, they needed them at Mound.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But here's a guy, a little younger. Osseo, class of 2009 graduate. He says, I can confirm they brought the canines in semi-frequently, including to have them walk along the lockers and smell for weed. Mm-hmm. They never, ever would have done that back in my day. Finally, I think you'll get a kick out of this. This is a long storyteller, Jesus. He says, this doesn't have anything to do with sick days from school because it was summertime. But, you know, on the topic of a parent, a stay-at-home parent ruining all your fun, he says, several years ago, I blew my bicep out right at the end of my kid's school year. I was on leave of absence for the entire summer, and when my kids found out, they were almost suicidal because I was home all summer every day. That's effing funny. The kids finding out that dad's going to be there every day, they were beside themselves. God damn.
TBI epilepsy Jesus faked a sick day, and his mom ratted him out to the school and told him to punish him for faking being sick.
What the hell is that? Your mom's not even on your side? Your mom's not even going to help you with your little caper? All right, good stuff. Thank you for the text. I dig that. On to the stupid news. It's pretty dramatic stuff right here. And since it's just us dudes here today, we can talk openly about our fears of women. In Stupid News Story Part 1, here's a guy who likely thought it was all over for him. He goes by the name of Stephen Woods. He thought he was a goner. And who could blame him for thinking his life was over when his ex-girlfriend, who knew he was home with his new girlfriend, she went and broke into his house while swinging around what they call here in the story martial arts sticks.
Like those kendo sticks.
Yeah.
Is that what they mean, kendo sticks?
I'm assuming.
I think so.
I wasn't sure if they meant nunchucks or, by God, kendo sticks.
I would think kendo sticks, but I suppose nunchucks, maybe that qualifies.
Again, dude's at home with his new girlfriend. His ex shows up and breaks into his house, and she's swinging around some kind of martial art weapon of death. I'd have serious trouble sleeping if that happened to me. So Steven's ex-lady, her name happens to be Buathip. Just go along with it. Buathip. She's one of those types who can't let things go, apparently. Word is she was furious when she found out that Steven was shacking up with another woman. The story describes Buathip as, quote, highly aroused and angry at that very moment. Highly aroused and angry is how they say it.
And the dangerous part about that is her face has had so much work done, I don't think you could find an emotion on it.
Oh, really? I'd have to see a picture of her.
I think she has all the Botox.
I thought I saw a picture of her and she looked angry.
Oh, she's expressionless. She looks like a doll.
Wow. Oh, I didn't even notice. I looked at that picture before, and I didn't notice that, yes, she's been operated on. She has a mad look on her face, but maybe she can't help it?
Boy, it doesn't look mad to me. It just looks vacant.
Okay.
There's nothing there.
So what happened now? Where was I? A few months ago, Buathip turned up at Steven's crib. She tore a side mirror smooth off his vehicle. Hi-ya! She kicked over a garbage can. Wapa! With a front kick. And then, proving she's completely mental, she smashed her way into his house by blasting in a window. Stevie Woods and his new piece were freaked out enough to where they barricaded themselves in the bedroom and called the cops. And all the while that Steve and his lady were waiting for the cops to show up, Buathip was karate bombing the bedroom door with those martial arts sticks to try to get in there and do God knows what. Apparently there's a video going up and down the godless internet where you can hear audio of Steve begging the cops to show up over the telephone, and you can hear glass shattering in the background. Steve screams to the cops, "Please, I need someone now." And in the background, madness. The cops arrested Buathip. She's got 2 kids, for cripe's sake, acting like that. And her lawyer says that she has no previous convictions. Man.
That's kind of surprising.
The next time any of us has an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend, remember this story. You never know.
I've been so lucky I've never experienced anything. There's been some kind of goofy stuff, but no violence. Nothing like this.
She walks in, well, not walks in, she breaks in to her ex-boyfriend's house, and she's swinging kendo sticks around like an old match starring Steve Blackman and give me another old WWF wrestler, Wapple, that used to haul around a kendo stick everywhere he went.
Oh, I can't think of...
Steve Blackman was always going against somebody in a kendo stick showdown back in the late 90s.
You know, like Sabu would always have those. But he wasn't really WWF.
No, that's close enough, Sabu. Oh, yeah, he would hit fans with his kendo stick.
Yep.
He'd break one right over your head while you're drinking a beer in the second row.
Yep.
I had a buddy who, a former buddy now, who did something similar to that. Kicked down the door, saw a car he didn't recognize in his ex-girlfriend's driveway.
Oh, no.
And he kicked down the door, and he decided to bring a gun with him, and things didn't work out for him. Spent a couple years in the clink after that.
Well, what the hell? You gotta let it go. Tommy Dreamer has been thrown into the mix as former WW wrestlers who might have went from town to town carrying a kendo stick.
Terry Funk?
Sure. I'd like to see video of this Buathip and her karate skills. Like I said, she karate chopped a rear view, what do you call it, a side mirror off the vehicle. She front kicked a trash can across the yard. Key up!
Oh, my word. I wonder how hard that is to kick off a side mirror. My wife has taken off a few hitting a garage or something like that.
Yeah.
But just to kick one off.
I bet you got to have some kind of focus and balance to do such a thing. All right, here's a little something that came all the way from the Welsh countryside. Can you picture it, the Welsh countryside?
I've seen pictures. Looks beautiful.
Gorgeous. From Wales, this news traveled all the way over here. And the story talks about some wheeling and dealing right here. This is exciting. A farmer was offered cash and a free trip to a strip club in exchange for allowing a company to build a wind turbine on his land. I'll tell you what, I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal 9 times out of 10.
I'd at least sit at the table and hear what they had to say.
That's those are the allegations that a farmer was offered cash and a free trip to a strip club if a company could build one of those big fat-ass wind turbines on his land. Word is there was some kind of little town meeting over that way, a meeting to discuss new green power installations, whatever that means. And the minutes from the meeting, the notes, they allegedly show that a company called Butte Energy made the cash money and boom boom room offer to this local farmer. But now the folks at Butte strongly deny the whole deal. They say that no such offer was ever made. Well, that's just cheap. That's what that is. A spokesman for Butte Energy called the whole story hearsay, gossip, innuendo, and defamatory. And they also say that the matter is now in the hands of their lawyers. Meanwhile, the farmer is left with blue balls over there. He thought he was going to the show.
I hope someone takes him.
This has become a big deal with the locals. There's a lot of bickering back and forth between the farmers and the energy company about building those big-ass turbines. Sounds like everybody in town could use a trip to the local leg show just to cheer them up a little bit. Some landowners have signed up for turbines. It can put a hell of a lot of money in their pockets, over $100,000 a year, it says here, Cubby.
That'd be tough to turn down.
Good God.
Can't they make you crazy?
Turbines can make you crazy, or farmers can make you crazy?
I guess
or strippers.
I always thought like the big wind turbines, like wind farms and stuff, can make people crazy because of the noise or something like that.
I've heard something. Yeah, look that up. You've got something cooking there. Yeah, I thought I'd heard that somewhere. Anyway, it could put $100,000 a year in your pocket if you're a farmer out there in the Welsh countryside and you allow a turbine to be built on your property. But a lot of them won't sign up for such a thing. They say that the turbines will ruin the aforementioned beauty of the Welsh countryside. F beauty. I want $100,000 a year.
Yeah, I like $100,000 a year.
God dang.
I think they look kind of cool.
Yeah.
Although I'm an idiot. When I read the headline, I thought, what is a wind turbine? I've never heard of a wind. Took me a second to realize how stupid I was.
So they say that it's a low-frequency sound of the spinning blades that can cause people to go nuts, but doctors are saying that it's not really true.
Right. Yep, that all sounds familiar to me.
I like seeing those wind farms.
I think they're cool looking.
Yeah, I think they are cool.
I understand that, there are certain people out there who like to keep the rolling hills and the countryside as pristine as possible. All I'm saying is if it's my property and you want to give me $100,000 a year, bring the trucks in, boys. Let's get it started. By the way, wrestling fans are texting in with their ideas for other wrestlers who like to haul around a kendo stick as a weapon, and one that was named here by I'll Always Walk with Elias Jesus, the Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
I was at a bar with the Sandman once. It was in old Chicago in downtown Minneapolis, and he got thrown out for his bad behavior. I think he showed up drunk. All right, maybe some of you boys want to check this out. There's a video going around of dudes getting hit with a full-on case of cramps from a period pain simulator.
Ooh.
And unfortunately, Smashley isn't here today. I was going to ask Smashley, what are we missing? What should we expect if any of us guys ever somehow got one of those periods? But she's not here to tell us all about it right now. Ladies in our listening audience, if you want to tell us something or another about your period, and the pain involved. Go ahead. We're at 651-989-9393. Give us your take on period pain.
Never thought this topic would come up where I'd say something about my wife's period, but she's lucky she doesn't get the cramps and stuff. I mean, I know there's been people we've worked with before that have those pads they put in the microwave, to warm things up. My wife actually got one as a gag gift over Christmas, playing one of those white elephant type games. It's a crab, and then she ended up giving it to a friend. But yeah, do you remember that? And it would smell like popcorn or something?
I have vague memories of such a thing. So dudes sat down and got hooked up to a period pain simulator. A Canadian company by the name of Some Days. Their aim is to take the stigma out of discussing period pain. They went ahead and set up a booth at the recent Calgary Stampede exhibition, which I believe is a massive rodeo show. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's a big fat rodeo show. Anyway, there's video of fellas riding the period simulator, and it's gone wild on social media. Hardcore Canuck bros getting smoked by the period machine. Dudes get hooked up to the machine. It looks like it latches on around their waist, and there's a gal there at the booth with a dial in hand going from pain level 1 all the way to pain level 10 if the fellas think they can handle it. The videos show men in cowboy hats getting folded in half by the period maker. A lot of pained facial expressions on the boys. A couple even busted out some tears.
I'll bet it's uncomfortable, that's for sure. I'm sure they don't give you light cramping. I'm sure they give you the real deal.
Man, yeah, I watched the videos. Immediately, these dudes are, reacting, going, oh, really? This is what it's like? This is what you feel? I can't imagine feeling this, for days on end. They were shocked.
Yeah, too bad Ashley's gone. I sent her the video. I don't know if she'll be working from home or not. She's not feeling well, but hopefully we can get that up. It is kind of funny watching some of this, especially, you see a couple guys going, how bad could it be? Oh, my God, just freaking out.
Right. I got a text. Okay, yeah, I wish Ashley was here to tell us all about her period. God, I wish he was here to tell us all. But Hot Cocoa Jesus has texted in. We asked ladies to text in. Tell us about your period situation. Hot Cocoa Jesus says it usually causes bleeding, immediately followed by rapid snap coiling of the penis.
Oh, no. Poor ladies.
That's too bad.
Vertically Challenged Jesus said it's been years since she's had a period, but boy, when I did, back cramps are bad. So bad, she said. Fun Size Jesus said, imagine someone takes a box of razors, dumps them in your lower stomach, and just shook you violently.
Oh.
Ooh. I wouldn't want that.
No, one of our female listeners says it starts by feeling like piranhas are attacking you, and it ends feeling like a megalodon is attacking you.
I like how they phrased it.
The CEO of this Some Days outfit, the outfit that set up this period pain simulator at the Calgary Rodeo, the CEO said a lot of people with periods experience extreme amounts of pain and are invalidated by their teachers, their coaches, their friends, and doctors. So we bring the period simulator to town to give people an idea of what women have to endure. Here's something I didn't know, not that I know word one about a period, but it says here, menstruation often begins in childhood? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Childhood? I thought you had to hit puberty before that came to town, but I know nothing. It's worth noting that actual children are expected to endure this kind of pain in elementary school.
I'd try this simulator. Would you guys? I'd like to know what the hell? Through.
Yeah, I would, but I think I'd really disappoint myself. I wouldn't be able to handle much.
You're not tough enough?
I don't think I would be.
Do you not have a high pain tolerance?
No.
I was told when I was a kid that I had a high pain tolerance when I had my lung operated on. They said that a lot of the procedures they were doing to me, most other kids couldn't handle. I carried that with pride for quite a while, but that was a long time ago.
5 Feet of Fury Jesus said last week her period pains woke her up at 2 a.m., had her up until 6 a.m. where she was finally able to throw up and go back to sleep. Oh, miserable.
Well, there's still text coming in. Feel free to tell us, ladies.
Boss Lady Jesus said girls are starting to get their periods earlier and earlier. Not uncommon for a 9 or 10-year-old to start her period.
God dang.
Whoa.
All right. Thank you for your text. We're learning.
Yeah, this is interesting.
We are learning. All right. I was taught as a child to be kind to the worker man. If a worker man has a job to do, you make way for the worker man. But as you already know, some folks are know-it-all, inconsiderate douchebags, so you know that's when the trouble starts. Over there in Birmingham, England, some scaffolders were trying to get a job done, and they ran into a douche problem. But the scaffolders got their revenge. A 23-year-old fella called Elliot Lockhart. He says he and his boys were working on a property, summers there in Birmingham. Scaffolders, they had to haul these, big 7-foot-long poles up and out the back of a truck and set it up this way and that way. They're working on a property, and they politely asked a dude to move his parked car to make room for the worker man to unload some of their scaffolding gear. But the dude was a bitch about it. He just smooth said no. And he also told the scaffolding crew that he, quote, knew the law.
Awesome. I like people that know the law.
Look, I know what I'm talking about. I'm just not your average schmuck over here. I know the law.
The only thing about those people is they usually don't know the law.
No, they don't. So this guy said, no, I won't move my car for your crew. And you guys can't do jack squat about it. According to the story, the scaffolding crew more or less said under their breath, all right, but paybacks are a bitch. So they barricaded the douchebag's parked car in with scaffolding poles.
That's so awesome. We talked about a crew that did that in New York last year. I absolutely love this kind of thing. They did their best.
The crew in New York, there was same
thing. It was a smart car, and the person refused to move it. I'm sure it's tough to find a place to park in New York, but they thought, well, we got to get to work, so they put scaffolding right over it.
Awesome. They barricaded the douchebag's car in with scaffolding poles. Douchebag comes back after a while, and he wets his pants. The scaffolders laughed at the douchebag for just a few minutes and then removed the barricade. They got it out of the way.
It's kind of like when somebody is so important they feel they can park in front of a fire hydrant, and then sadly there's a fire, and the fire department's like, all right, we'll just go through your windows to get our hose to where we need it to go.
Sure. Now this Elliot kid who runs this scaffolding crew, who by the way has a terrible hairdo. If you see a picture of this guy, he's got one of the worst haircuts. He went to the barber shop and said, yeah, give me the Lloyd Christmas look.
Wapple's working on getting this stuff up.
He said about the douchebag, he got quite irate and was point blank refusing to move his car. He claimed he knew laws off the top of his head. There were numerous parking spaces he could have used. He took issue with us for no reason. Instead of getting angry about it, we thought we'd get revenge this way. F that douchebag.
It's perfect.
You make way for the worker man.
It's not just the haircut that makes him a douchebag. It's the fact that he took a selfie with his shirt off. That helps.
Yeah. You got to see the hairdo.
It seems like he lost a fantasy football bet or something. I don't think anybody would do that on purpose.
I'm with you on that.
Or he cut his own hair.
Oh. All right, some things never change. As we've discussed before, at every party, there's got to be one or two jag-offs who insist on being that guy. They have to do something to try and be remembered. They're unable to get the attention they need just with their personality or their friendliness. They got to do something. And when it backfires, damn, is it fun for everyone involved. Some little clown-ass punk in Alabama tried to be the crazy party guy by sitting himself inside a decorative vase. Picture like a big planter, but with no plant in it. The dude sat himself inside that. The story calls it a massive vase. I'll go along with it. To me, it's more like a planter, but whatever. And this dinkus got himself stuck inside the damn thing. Sawed-off little peckerhead dude. And there's video of this disaster going round and round.
Wapple's working on getting that up.
What I really enjoyed about the video is the part when this little prick got mad at the folks who were gathered around trying to help him. He acted as if he was a victim of some kind of wrongdoing instead of someone who put himself in this stupid situation. Although I will admit, there was a ridiculous amount of people gathered around barking advice at the guy, as if they all have deep knowledge of how to escape a decorative vase once you get stuck inside. Everyone's an expert on everything these days. You guys know that already. But he loses his cool at one point while he's lying on his back with his lower body completely inside this planter or vase. He loses his cool and cusses everybody out. Eventually, this party full of morons had to break the vase to get Lil Skippy out of there.
Was kind of impressive. He fit in that thing, though.
He's a little guy. And see, he wasn't done yet. Apparently, after he was busted on out of the vase, funny guy walked around the party with no pants on for a while. So this guy does not give up.
That's good comedy, right?
And Skippy's going to have to pay the vase owner back. Folks think the vase could cost between $500 to $3,000.
Holy cow. Yeah. I saw that and I was looking up $3,000 vases. There's not a lot of them, thankfully.
Is that right?
And they call it an urn. At first when I saw the headline, I thought, oh my gosh, first and foremost, is he a genie? How does he fit in an urn? And then how disrespectful.
An urn? I mean, that's a massive item. You'd have to be a pretty big fella to have your ashes go into an urn or an item that size. So there you go. The latest attention-starved partygoer is enjoying his 15 minutes of fame on social media. And finally, here in the stupid news, remember that 13-year-old kid we were talking about a couple days ago? The kid who defeated the video game Tetris? And with that accomplishment, he's now become the most powerful and dangerous 13-year-old in America, and he's now dating 26-year-old women. Remember him?
Of course.
Willis Gibson, I think is the kid's name. What an accomplishment by Willis. And I'm kidding around. I don't know if he's dating 26-year-old women, but after what he's accomplished, he should be. A news anchor by the name of Jane Secker from some setup called Sky News. She's getting heavily criticized by the video game community because after she reported on air that Willis Gibson had reached the highest level of anyone who has ever played Tetris, this Secker lady took a moment to smart-mouth the kid, and she told him, quote, to go get some fresh air.
13-year-old American Willis Gibson beat the original Nintendo version of the game, Tetris, by reaching such a high level that the coding froze. As a mother, I would just say step away from the screen, go outside, get some fresh air. Beating Tetris is not a life goal. Speaking of fresh air, let's get a look at the weather.
All right.
Look, lady, congratulations. Real original, you're a mother. But you're not this kid's mother, so shut your trap. What a smart ass. What a
yeah, some people like to be that person,
What a
right?
smarmy,
I'm not impressed.
Douchey thing to say.
To a 13-year-old.
Right. Good for you. Imagine her kids don't get a lot of laughs around the house.
Nah.
But the comment, like I said, angered a lot of folks online who found it condescending, dismissive. This kid did what many longtime Tetris fans have considered impossible. 13-year-old kid. One gamer said this online. The 50-year-old news anchor who probably spends 11 hours a day scrolling Facebook seems really bitter. A 13-year-old kid did something nobody else could do in like a half century of the game existing.
Very well said. And I'll bet that's not too far from the truth.
Oh, yeah.
I bet she's on social media a lot.
Oh, she's fingering her phone all day long, but a kid played some video games and ended up being like the greatest of all time, and she's bitter and upset about it. Look, as a mother, shut it. It sucks. Willis is hopefully not hearing much about this. He's still celebrating his victory.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
And I'm sure they'll bring that energy right to Texas.
I'm just here to tell you, Pack is back.
You heard it from a fan right here. Pack is back.
Who was that player for the Packers who jumped in on that local television broadcast and then the broadcaster didn't even know he was a player?
Jair Alexander.
Jai
with the J.
Jair. Yeah, gal was broadcasting out front of wildly overrated Lambeau Field saying, hey, the Packers are in the playoffs. And here comes an actual player for the Packers. He was kind of funny. He just ducked his head in there and said something cute.
Yeah, he usually has something to say.
I'll give the gal a break. I mean, it's hard to recognize these guys when their helmets are off.
And he snuck up on her, so she's just side-eyeing him a little bit. Didn't get the full profile.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, a year or two ago, there was a sports broadcaster out in Utah doing a live shot out front the Utah Jazz basketball arena talking about the upcoming season. And here comes, that player. He's a great player. He's like a six-man off the bench, a skinny little guy. He's got a cute haircut. God dang it.
See if I can find it here.
Utah Jazz player, off the bench guy. NBA people, help me out. God dang it. You guys never watch basketball.
I'm good for a game a year. Does that count?
Yeah. Anyway, a Utah Jazz player comes out of the arena as this lady's talking about, the upcoming Utah Jazz season. He comes walking out of the arena, and he steps into the camera shot quite innocently, and she says, well, here we've got a Utah Jazz fan right here. How many games do you come to a year? And he says, I'm at damn near every one of them. Wow, that's so impressive. It was so well done. The dude totally kept a straight face. Somebody help me out. Look at the Utah Jazz roster. Sixth man. I hate myself. A few minutes ago, we were talking about an interesting story from the Calgary Rodeo. Ladies set up a period pain simulator for men to sit down and get hooked up to so they can experience the pain of a period. We had women in our listening audience texting up and down about what it's like to live through period pain. Brought up an interesting text from Reefer Van Jesus. He wants to know, is there anywheres, can we get women to ride through the kick in the nuts simulator?
I
so
wonder.
They can understand the pain of a kick to the nuts.
I bet there'd be women who would try that. I'd also like to try the punched in the boob simulator. They say how much that hurts.
Jordan Clarkson, thank you, Brotherhood. Jordan Clarkson was the member of the Utah Jazz.
I found a clip that I was trying to see if we had a clip somewhere. It looks very short, so I don't think we have all of it. I don't know what. We'll listen.
What? Did you go to any Jazz games?
Yeah, a lot.
He went to a lot of games.
He went to a lot of games. I dig that. All right. I watched quite a bit of last night's. Oh, okay. I'll get to that later. I got to get going. I did watch quite a bit of last night's national championship college football game. The bad news is Michigan was the winner. Michigan beat Washington. So the University of Michigan is supposedly this year's national champion. Now, let the Harbaugh is leaving for the NFL stories cut loose for real. There's more of those going around. We'll get into this with Randy Shaver. The Pigs still missing a key player or two. They got shut out at home last night. They got to stop losing. They got to get the power play going. Golden Gopher hockey beat Colorado College last night. Timberwolves are in terrible Orlando, Florida tonight for a scheduled regular season game against the Magic. Randy Shaver will be swinging by in a half hour. Josh's News is coming up next.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The NFL playoffs are here, and it all starts on January 13th with Super Wildcard Weekend.
Give me everything you got.
12 teams, 6 games, 3 days, and one epic weekend that kicks off with a Saturday doubleheader, followed by a Sunday tripleheader, and ends with a Wild Card Monday.
Unbelievable.
The road to Super Bowl 58 starts now. Super Wild Card Weekend presented by Verizon. Visit NFL.com/schedule for ways to watch.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
It's unacceptable, it's appalling, and it's out of control. No worker should ever live in fear while they're doing their job.
Federal charges have been filed in a pair of back-to-back armed robberies of Twin Cities letter carriers late last year. Twin harrowing encounters that were just the focus of a weekend rally in downtown Minneapolis. Prosecutors last week charged the 26-year-old St. Paul man with robbing 2 mail carriers in November, less than 24 hours apart in Edina in Brooklyn Center.
2 days ago on Friday, I got word from the postal inspectors that they did catch the suspect that they were looking for. I talked with both the carriers who were robbed for the equipment, and they are both extremely relieved to know that this guy is off the streets.
2 armed robberies received heightened attention at the Sunday rally outside the Minneapolis U.S. Postal Service building, in which letter carriers shined a light on workers' safety amid a series of more than 2,000 violent attacks nationally since 2020.
Over 2,000 letter carriers nationwide have been victims of violent crime, leaving our brothers and sisters terrified to do their job. This is unfortunately a growing problem, not just here in the Twin Cities or in the state of Minnesota, but around the country.
I had no idea. I feel terrible that I wasn't aware of this. Why would you attack a letter carrier? I
was going to ask you the same question. What are you getting from the mailman?
So I have a little bit of an answer, and I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but my goodness. I thought it was just dogs. I didn't know people were doing the same thing.
Right.
In a statement yesterday, the U.S. Attorney called the St. Paul man's case part of an alarming trend around the country and Twin Cities. According to an inspector with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service Twin Cities field office, criminals seek out arrow keys carried by some mail carriers because they can be used to steal mail, cash, or checks from mailboxes. Those checks are then counterfeited or circulated online, and the stolen arrow keys can be put up for sale.
I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, it was news to me as well. The National Association of Letter Carriers held the Enough is Enough rally Sunday to bring attention and demand an end to the assaults and robberies of letter carriers. Members said they want more protections from the U.S. Postal Service so they can feel safe delivering mail. They also want those who commit assaults and robberies against carriers prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, F me running. I was unaware of this effing scam myself, Josh. You know what my mailman and I do once in a while, Cubby?
What's that?
Wave to each other.
Yeah, I talk to my mailman quite frequently, Craig. What's up, Craig? I love Craig.
There go Craig right there.
Yeah.
I just saw him go by.
He's the coolest dude in town.
He thinks he's cool.
An 18-year-old is accused of ramming a septic truck into a police cruiser in Connecticut. Ooh, gross. State police said the incident happened Friday after they were dispatched to a report of an active disturbance. According to reports, the caller said she was in an altercation with her 18-year-old son. When troopers arrived on scene, they were confronted by 18-year-old Donovan Beard. Police said Beard was driving a septic truck he illegally gained access to. They said he rammed that truck into one of the troopers' cruisers and then ran himself, engaging police in a foot pursuit.
Stole the turd mobile.
Yeah, crashed right into a cop car. A Miami man was arrested after police say he attacked another man with a machete on New Year's Day. According to the report, officers responded to a call of a machete attack at about 5:45 p.m. and found the victim with a large gash on his left hand. That's no way to start 2024.
Oh, absolutely not.
The victim said 23-year-old Victor Sejas struck him multiple times with the machete after they'd been involved in some sort of minor, they called it, disagreement. Wasn't so minor at the end of that.
No, not when one person swinging a machete your way.
A Tennessee couple faces charges after they allegedly assaulted a woman who went to their home to get her hair braided. Jasmine Withers, the stylist, and her boyfriend Markel King are facing charges for what transpired after the victim went to their apartment to get her hair braided by Withers. The two got into an argument about payment, and it became physical. Both Withers and her boyfriend reportedly kept the victim from leaving before Withers began hitting the victim in the head, then cutting the braids out of her hair following the dispute of payment. Withers told King to grab a gun from the kitchen. Luckily, the victim was able to fight back and leave the apartment before it escalated. Withers and King were taken into custody.
She was there to get her hair braided.
Yeah, and something happened where she didn't pay enough or something, according to Withers.
You know, Cubby, I know a young lady who did a little time. She did. She's a good person that has made some mistakes in her past, and she's moved beyond it at this point. She was not incarcerated for terribly long, but maybe you had to be there, but one of the funniest stories I ever heard from her was she said when she walked in the joint, there was no option to say no. She was just surrounded by some other female inmates, and they instantly started to braid her hair for her.
Oh, really?
Yes. She said she didn't know any of these women. Just as soon as she walked in, the gal said, "Sit down." "Why am I sitting down?" And they all began braiding her hair. And she said, saying no just wasn't an option.
Was that the style everyone had? Maybe I'd feel honored to join the group.
I mean, she said it was a little strange, but she just went along with it. I just got a massive chuckle out of that when she said there was just, no other option. Sit down. We are going to braid your hair.
A 55-year-old woman in Tennessee was arrested over the weekend for allegedly stabbing her boyfriend in the face multiple times after she saw his ex-girlfriend had called his phone several times while he was at her apartment.
She stabbed him for that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Memphis PD responded to an apartment complex 3 a.m. Saturday regarding a domestic involving a boyfriend and girlfriend. Upon arriving at the fourth-floor apartment, first responders made contact with Cassandra Collins' boyfriend, who appeared to be suffering multiple stab wounds.
Oh.
The boyfriend advised investigators he'd been invited to the apartment of his girlfriend, whom he identified as Collins. That evening, he said the two of them had been drinking beers and were about to have sex.
Whoa!
When Collins suddenly went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife, she walked over to her boyfriend and began stabbing him in the face at least 4 times, police said. She also stabbed him at least once in the arm. After being read her rights, police say Collins agreed to speak with detectives and proceeded to provide a likely motive for that stabbing. She allegedly told police she invited her boyfriend to her apartment that evening, and the two had indeed been hanging out and drinking beer and were about to have sexual intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
She then advised while they were drinking, she saw her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend called many times on his phone. Collins has a bond review hearing scheduled for 9 a.m.
Yeah, some chicks who don't like that when the ex gives you a phone call.
Yeah, she's one of them.
Well, did they ever have sex?
I don't think so.
Probably.
She got taken away.
Okay.
But maybe conjugal visits, maybe? Maybe he'll show up.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it.
Just look for the guy with all the Band-Aids on his face. 2 female prison staff admitted having a relationship with the same inmate at the same time in prison for a love triangle there.
That's hot stuff. No, I like that. I always like the caged heat stories. I always have.
29-year-old Alicia Bates and 27-year-old Jody Wilkes engaged in a relationship with 36-year-old Michael Cronshaw while working at a prison in the UK.
So 2 female guards digging on this one male inmate.
One guy, yep.
Pimp.
The charges state Bates had a relationship with Cronshaw between December 2019 and June 2020 while working as a prison officer. Wilkes conducted her relationship with Cronshaw between April and June of 2020. He was due to appear in court alongside the pair, but couldn't attend. Apparently, he was injured in a traffic accident. He's charged with 2 counts of intentionally encouraging/assisting the commission of an indictable offense, namely misconduct in public office, by engaging in his relationship and possessing an unauthorized mobile phone inside the prison.
Well, he's out of the cooler now.
He's out now, yes. The two women pled guilty to misconduct in public office on Friday.
He must be one handsome sumbitch, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess. He's irresistible, that's for sure.
All the ladies in prison want to fire him down.
A Connecticut firefighter is being credited for spotting a house fire while plowing the streets, prompting him to save the lives of sleeping victims.
Thank God it snowed. Thank God there was a plow truck on the street. The garage was more or less up in flames, and it was very surreal.
The Long Hill Fire Company said that Sean Bogan saw the fire starting in a garage and quickly radioed dispatch and called 911.
Ran to the front door, started banging. I think the mother woke up, met me at the door. As you'd expect at 3:30 in the morning to be shocked. Your house is on fire. What? Your house is currently on fire.
He then went to the home and woke up the residents.
His quick thinking and quick actions definitely saved lives.
Not a lot of thought. It was just a lot of do. The 15 years of training here, it was just kind of, okay, people in the house, get people out of house, get what we need to the scene.
He's a hero.
He is. The fire was so large, 26 firefighters responded to the blaze and took them an hour to bring the fire under control. Thanks to Bogan, the 4 adults and 3 dogs who lived there safely made it out of the house. The cause of that fire is under investigation.
Man, one of my buddies in high school, his folks' place damn near burned to the ground because his younger sister was smoking cigarettes and throwing them out her bedroom window.
Oh, man.
And caught some leaves, a leaf pile on fire outside the house. That was hilarious.
A man in Brazil died after falling down a 130-foot hole under his kitchen floor. Apparently, he dug that hole after he had a dream there was gold buried under his property.
Here we go.
There wasn't.
Here we effing go.
The 71-year-old lost his balance Thursday afternoon, plunging down the massive pit he excavated, which ended up being as tall as a 12-story building, police said. Neighbors told local media following a prophetic dream, the man had become obsessed with the idea there was gold beneath his kitchen floor, so he kept digging and digging and digging until he found it. He didn't find it. Apparently, he spent over a year digging for the treasure that he never found up until the day he died. Officials were unsure exactly how long he had been working on the hole, but they believe it was at least a year.
That's awful strange.
Yeah. In related news, believe it or not, there's related news. It was announced last week the tunneling project by Virginia's so-called Tunnel Girl, a TikToker who for over a year has been attempting to dig a 30-foot tunnel under her home, has been shut down for safety concerns after the town received a violation notice.
She's been doing what?
Digging a tunnel under her house.
And for what reason?
Supposedly some sort of storm shelter.
There's a big storm coming?
Maybe she had a dream that one's coming. I'm not sure. Federal investigators busted a drug trafficking operation that used stuffed toys to mail drugs from Arizona to Minnesota. What law enforcement is calling a state record for seizure of fentanyl pills. The Washington County Sheriff's Office said the unprecedented haul brought in about 280,000 pills, weighed more than 66 pounds, had a street value of about $2.2 million. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration considers 2 milligrams of fentanyl a potentially lethal dose, so police say with this seizure, they believe hundreds, if not thousands of lives have been saved.
We know with 66 pounds of that stuff off of the street, we're saving a lot of lives.
The charges allege several of the defendants traveled to Phoenix to obtain the pills from suppliers, then hid them in stuffed animals and mailed them to addresses in and around the Twin Cities. Law enforcement in Dakota, Ramsey, and Washington counties became aware of the trafficking and initiated a joint investigation which led to the seizure of 6 packages. According to preliminary data released in October by the Minnesota Department of Health, there were 1,343 drug overdose deaths in Minnesota in 2022.
Well, good for those folks for getting a hold of that dope.
Yeah, glad they got that off the streets. Fentanyl, which is 50 times more potent than heroin, was involved in 92% of all opioid-involved deaths and nearly 2/3 of all overdose deaths statewide. Minnesota law enforcement is trying out a new tool to test for drivers using cannabis, hoping it could help.
Here we go, Wapple.
Uh-oh.
It could help save lives lost to impaired driving. In August, cannabis became legal for adults 21 and older to use and possess in Minnesota, but of course it still can't be used while behind the wheel, both of a car or boat. A pilot project that began this month involves training law enforcement on how to perform a roadside test for cannabis, according to the State Patrol. The instrument, an oral fluid mobile analyzer, can detect the presence of cannabis or other drugs in a driver.
We may not be able to afford to put one in every squad car, but the intent is to make sure that these instruments are in the hands of the street officers that maybe don't have that high level of training like the DREs, so that they have another tool to help them determine impairment and help them make that arrest, no arrest decision.
The project will be testing how effective, efficient, and accurate the tests are.
So we're seeing accuracy above 90%.
People may have used cannabis recently or a while ago, but they may not be significantly impaired.
Another instrument, the very fake-sounding Drug Test 5000, will be tested at a later date.
The Drug Test 5000?
Yeah. We got the Drug Test 5000 and the Jurassic Park Water Squirter 2001. The roadside test will be like preliminary breath tests that law enforcement officers use to detect drunken driving. Drugged driving accounted for 8,069 DUI incidents from 2013 to 2017, compared with 15,810 from 2018 to 2022, which marks a 96% increase.
So we got new ways to bust you potheads, huh?
Sounds that way,
Take your medicine. There's no free rides around here anymore.
The American Red Cross said yesterday they're experiencing an emergency blood shortage.
It means that hospitals will order a certain number of units of blood, and those orders are not being filled fully. So hospital blood banks are low on blood.
According to the humanitarian organization, it's seeing the lowest number of people giving blood in 20 years. That means the Red Cross, which said it supplies about 40% of the nation's blood donations, has had to limit distributions of some of the most transfused blood types to hospitals.
Doctors have to make choices about which patients can receive a transfusion in a given day. Surgeries like heart surgeries can be delayed waiting for the available blood to be collected and sent to the hospital.
It's not the first time the Red Cross has alerted the public to the diminishing blood supply. In January 2022, the Red Cross said the U.S. was seeing a national blood crisis due to a drop in donations and donation drives. Additionally, in September 2023, the Red Cross said the national blood supply had dropped to critically low levels due to summer travel and storms disrupting donation collection. According to the Red Cross, only 3% of age-eligible people, or about 6.8 million Americans, donate blood every year.
Hell, that was your first part-time job, wasn't it, Josh?
It was, yeah. When I first worked here, I was landscaping and doing that on the side. I would look more sickly than I do now.
Yeah.
I was doing that a couple times a week. When's the last time you donated blood? Oh, I don't know, years ago. Plasma, everything.
Yeah, when you were young, I always did think you looked like you could use a meal.
Yeah, I looked like I was, one of those dudes that vampires keep around, like locked in the basement, and they just kind of snack on for years and years and years. I was one of those.
What was the average price when you were dumping blood all over town when you were a young person?
Well, when I was doing it, so I would sell plasma. I think I get $25 a time.
Yeah.
And so I guess you can't say donate. And then for blood, it was like $10 a time, I think.
You take that straight. They take that money straight to Burger King.
Yeah, pretty much.
Try to refuel.
Yeah, it went up in price because my buddies used to do it in college for beer money, and I think they got $50 a week.
Well, maybe my blood
plasma.
sucked. Yeah. Did you fit for plasma?
Yeah, $50 a month for plasma.
Man,
you don't want to know what I did for beer money.
Oh,
it was pretty dark. pretty dark stuff.
The Drop Shot Cancer event is coming up Saturday, January 20th.
You getting warmed up to that yet, Josh?
No, I probably should. I haven't picked up a paddle, I guess they call it, in a while.
They're asking us to play some pickleball at this event.
They are. It's benefiting the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. A week from Saturday, we will be at Drop Shot Pickleball in Shakopee. 8:15 a.m. registration and breakfast, courtesy of Coffee to Cream. The beginner level, which Nick and I are participating in, goes from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
9 a.m.?
Yeah, and you got to be there at 8:15.
Oh, I'm not having breakfast. I'll eat a cold pizza on the way there. I'm not going to be there for breakfast. I'll be there time for game time.
The intermediate level goes from 11:30 to 1:30. Then there's still availability if you'd like to get a team together for the second intermediate level. That starts at 2 and goes till 4. Drop Shot Cancer, the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund, and everyone here at 93X want to thank Drop Shot Pickleball for hosting it. Culver's of Shakopee, Belltone Hearing Centers, Coffee to Cream, Bill's Tawdry, Dalen Sign Company, all for supporting Minnesota's cancer community. The series premiere of the MCU's Echo debuts tonight at 8 o'clock on Disney Plus and Hulu. Maya Lopez's ruthless behavior in New York City catches up with her in her hometown. She must face her past, reconnect with her roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community. Then on NBC, the third season premiere of La Brea. Birthdays today: Chad Ochocinco, 46, J.K. Simmons, 69, Jimmy Page turns 80.
Oh, no.
80. We welcome Shrimpin' but Pimpin' Jesus to the Brotherhood, and congrats to Mom and Dad. Happy 52nd birthday to water skiing Jesus from Walked by the Dog Jesus, and the dog, of course. Happy birthday to the beautiful Vicky from Rick. And across the country, January 9th each year, we were talking about this earlier today, it's National Law Enforcement Day, Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, every January 9th. It's recognized across the nation. Citizens show support to officers of every rank and file, those who have chosen a profession which puts their life on the line every day for our communities. And plenty of people text in personal notes they wanted to send to folks. Police Car Building Jesus wants to thank all the officers out there. Big Rig Fenders Jesus shouts out the Mille Lacs PD. Folgers Can Jesus wants to thank Dylan and the whole crew at the Chaska PD for crushing crime. Asian Cop Jesus, you are appreciated, from Chipman Jesus and the rest of us. Body Bag Jesus texts a shout out to his uncle, Captain Olson of Big Lake. He's on his 20th year of dedicated service to his community. Ammonia Hauling Jesus texts in a belated birthday shout out to his son, South Metro Cop Jesus. Personally, I'd like to shout out my brother who's in Bloomington, and I have a cousin in St. Paul. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
What an hole. I've never heard you say that, but I've never needed to say it before, and this time it needed to be said. It's like your mouth works. You can stop testing it.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
JJ takes the snap, puts the ball to Roman Wilson after he takes a knee, and Michigan, the Wolverines, have won a national championship. Wolverine players, Wolverine alums, Michigan fans everywhere. Jim Harbaugh and your staff, your team is the #1 team in America as the clock ticks down and Michigan completes a 15-0 national championship season here in Houston.
Hail, hail, Michigan. They are the champions of college football 2023.
Present the national championship trophy, Coach Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines.
Pull it down! Pull it down! We did that! We did that!
All right, Randy Shaver, you better be good today. You better be good.
I will do my best.
We're down 2 show members today. Both Ashley and Dana are out sick.
Oh, boy.
So the way I figure it, your skill set should be able to make up for the absence of 2 mediocre on-air talents.
Right. Carry the load. Well, Wapple's still there. That's,
He's over there.
He's been killing it, as always.
Yes.
The anchor.
Yes.
The anchor.
That's true, you are.
That's the way I figure it. I figure your skill set should be able to make up for the missing 2.
Sure.
They both turned up sick.
Wow. Are we sure is it sick in quotes?
Well, I guess.
Yes, they're sick.
Dana had been sounding sick. And he said he has COVID, which could be tested by the company if they really wanted to. But they don't miss him that much, so they're probably not going to do it. But Ashley just sent in a text. So, yeah, I guess I'm assuming honesty's the best policy, and I'm hoping they follow that
their
policy.
track record, there's no reason to doubt it because their track record is pretty, what's the word I had and I lost?
Impeccable?
Well, sure. I was going to go with consistent.
They're sick quite often?
These 2 have the immune systems of baby otters or something. I don't understand it. They're always sick.
Is it because we have an all-staff meeting today?
Oh, good question. That is weird. They both missed the all-staff meeting.
And I want to be clear, I know nothing about baby otters. I was just trying to make a point that both of their immune systems are challenged, and I think they need to speak to a specialist.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while for Ashley, hasn't it? Because Dana was sick a week or 2 ago. I forget exactly, but he had a day off.
I don't know.
So he's gone the rest of the week.
Dana's gone the rest of the week.
Yeah, he's got the
Wow.
vid again, so they're keeping him home.
Some people are imagining maybe they're having some kind of an affair, and that's why the both of them keep getting sick. I think Ashley's smarter than that.
Gross.
They're sharing germs.
Ashley's way smarter than that.
Gross.
I mean, can you imagine even considering physical intimacy with Dana?
No, that's what I said. Gross.
Yeah.
There's people that have done that.
I don't believe that.
Just having to give him a high five gives me the willies.
Well, he's got those sweaty hands.
Well, Randy Shaver, you know that I don't like anything positive to happen to Jim Harbaugh.
That is a fact.
But his club won the ball game last night anyway.
Well,
I
they
watched-
they overpowered Washington.
I watched quite a bit of last night's national championship college football game. For the most part, it was a close game.
Certainly in the second half.
I think the final was 34-13 or something in that
that's
neighborhood.
correct.
I mean, it was a close ball game till the end.
I think the thing that was surprising to me was just how easy it looked for them to run the football against Washington.
Well, from the get-go, it was.
Yeah, but I mean, they controlled the clock.
In the opening quarter, Michigan was running all over Washington. I got to give Washington's defense a hell of a lot of credit. They held strong for a long stretch of time.
Right.
But I think the defense for Washington was just on the damn field too long. Washington, excuse me.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Too big of a hit.
Oh, he's down.
Another person's sick.
Take over, Wapple.
Wapple, entertain.
Yeah, that game was kind of boring, though.
You thought it was boring?
No, not at all.
I thought it was.
Washington's defense deserves a lot of credit. They were just beat by the end of the night. Washington's offense, which I hear was just lights out all year long, just couldn't quite get the job done.
No.
That quarterback, Penix.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this a guy, Randy? You tell me, because I follow Golden Gopher football, and that's about it. You tell me, this Penix quarterback for Washington, is he a guy that NFL scouts are drooling all over?
I don't know about drooling, but they certainly have taken notice for sure the last two games. Sure, definitely after the semifinal when he threw for, 450 or whatever he threw for.
That dude can sling it.
He can sling it. I'm not sure if... I'm not sure what his, overall numbers are, his accuracy. I'm not sure what his, don't know how to call it, but what the numbers are, height, weight, speed, stuff that they judge people on.
Right.
Quarterbacks on. I don't know where he lines up in all of that.
Sure, I understand what you mean.
I mean, the kid at North Carolina has the metrics, I guess, is the thing I'm looking for. Has the height and the arm speed and the arm strength and all that kind of stuff that it seems NFL teams, look at. To me, Penix, at least this year, and he's got an injury history that cost him quite a few years in college football. He was at Indiana for many years.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing him at Indiana, sure.
And could never get healthy, could never stay healthy.
Well, I read a few college football folks who wrote the story of last night's game is that Penix picked the worst time to have his worst game.
Yeah, but I think Michigan has something to do with that, though, too.
Sure, penalties kicked Washington's ass just as much as Michigan did. They had some big plays called back for penalties.
Yeah.
So there you go. Michigan is supposedly recognized as this year's national champion. Now, as I said earlier, let's let the Harbaugh leaving for the NFL stories cut loose for real.
I think they will.
They always do.
I think there will be a very legitimate discussion among some teams.
Every year since he joined the Michigan Wolverines program, every year in the offseason, there's conversation about him coming back to the NFL. Now, I want him here in Minnesota. I've already established that. This morning, I already read two stories that have him leaving Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Los Angeles Chargers and, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a matter of leaving college football for the NFL for the money, because he's already making NFL kind of money coaching at Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either, the reason why he would leave at this point is that maybe he feels like he's now accomplished everything he set out to do at Michigan, and it's time for that challenge of the NFL again. I think that's, now that he's won the national title, I think that's probably his motivation.
He's just such a douchebag.
Monetarily, he's gonna make more
For God's
in the
sake,
NFL,
if
but
he
he's
lived to
already
be
made
1,000, he wouldn't spend all the money he's made.
Right.
It's not money. Oh, how about this now? Outdoor Weed Jesus texted the program. And he says some NFL experts are predicting that Michael Penix Jr., that's the correct name for the kid who plays for Washington, right?
Yes.
Michael Penix. They're predicting that he will go to the Vikings in the draft in the first round.
A few people did text that.
Ooh.
The Vikings pick, what, number 11?
11, yeah.
That sounds like fun. Big left-handed quarterback. Like that kid.
Well, there's a number of scenarios that the Vikings have in front of them to decide their immediate and long-term future. Do you re-sign Cousins for maybe 2 years and draft a quarterback? Do you decide not to keep Cousins, completely go for the rebuild, still draft a quarterback, but maybe sign a free agent
an old
quarterback to fill in, and then save that money to spend on other positions, which they need? Or just keep Cousins and not draft a quarterback with the 11th pick and, draft for defense or whatever it might be.
This is funny. A listener texted in and said, with all of Harbaugh's money, you think the guy could afford some LASIK at this point? He's got those big, thick glasses. I see what you mean, dude. That's funny. You guys have all went through that, didn't you? LASIK, whatever you call it, LASIK?
Yes.
I don't know.
LASIK.
How's it going?
It was the greatest decision I've ever made.
Where are you? Oh, over there.
Where are
Just speak and I'll look in that direction.
I'm over here. That's a funny line. Yeah, he's got those big, thick glasses, Harbaugh. It's kind of funny seeing him look old. He looks old now, All right, you mentioned the quarterback situation with the Vikings. Old Captain Death Rocks there, Kirk Cousins. We were talking about his tired ass yesterday. Brad Ryder seems to think he'll be back next year. Randy Shaver says not so fast.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
But he's a free agent, right?
That's correct.
And it sounds like his preference is to remain here in town, which is bad news if you like excitement.
I mean, he kind of hinted yesterday that he would give the hometown discount to the Vikings. It's happened before.
That's my reaction to him sticking around.
It's happened before. Herbeck took the hometown discount.
Herbeck?
And stayed. Yes, he did. Remember the Tigers were
yes, I do.
Chasing after him?
I just like how we're dragging Kent Herbeck into the mix. Yeah, I remember that big deal. Didn't Turkey Bucket do the same damn thing?
Turkey Bucket did the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So it's happened before. There's history of that.
Daniil Hunter wants to stay in Minnesota. He says, this is an organization that I love. Well, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it, Josh always says.
I don't know if he will be willing to
why don't you
give
go
the
ahead and
hometown.
marry it then if you love it so much?
Yeah, prove it to us.
Right.
I don't think he's the kind of guy in his position that he would entertain the hometown discount.
Okay.
I hope
he's got the one chance to make the money.
What were they talking about, like $30 million or something a year? If you put him up against the other top pass rushers in the league, the Vikes are going to have to give him $30 million.
The Vikings aren't going to do that. I just don't think they'll do that.
That's crazy. See now, Brewers and High Life Jesus is texted in on this Jim Harbaugh coming to the Minnesota Vikings to be the new head coach story that everyone's talking about. He says he thinks that Harbaugh's going to leave because of all the sanctions that might be dumped on the club with the sign stealing and the things and the penalties and. I thought they already settled that.
I thought they did too. Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe there's other things coming. Who knows?
Oh, and then fascinating text from Terrazzo Jesus. If Harbaugh is farsighted, LASIK doesn't work very well because of the way the pupil is shaped. Wow, we've got people who know. The Brotherhood knows every damn thing. Did you guys know that? Farsighted, LASIK doesn't. That's according to one listener.
I always forget which is which, but if you have trouble seeing at a distance, that's where it's supposed to help. Is that farsighted?
Yeah.
It's always backwards to me. I can't remember.
I like being blind because it gives me excuses not to see things that,
To see the truth in front of you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have eye problems, Randy? Do you wear?
I wear contacts. I have worn contacts in the past, but now we move the cameras like all the way up next to the desk for me.
So you can read the teleprompter?
So I don't wear contacts.
Is that what you're saying? So you can read
Yes.
the... Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Mine keep getting worse. Like I have to get readers now. They're so bad.
I always hated contacts because I couldn't touch my eye.
I could never do contact lenses because of that. What you just said, Wapple. I think I'd be terrible. I'd miss all the time, or I'd stab myself in the eye and give myself some kind of an infection or something. I have been wearing cheaters for a while now. I don't know how long, Cubby. You look at me every day. A couple years now.
It's been a long time.
But
which ones do you have now? Oh yeah, you used to have these Sally Jesse Raphael ones, if you know that reference.
No,
you
what's
know,
that?
the red rimmed, because you used to wear those.
Oh my gosh,
the red framed glasses.
Stylish.
I had some red ones. Yeah, Sally Jesse Raphael is the comparison there. I haven't heard that name in a long time. But I need some real glasses now. I need some ones that I'll wear around air day. But I got to go sign up for an eye exam.
My stepson's girlfriend does that. You'll see her when we're at Drop Shot Pickleball. You can talk to her about it.
Cubby was just bringing up this pickleball tournament coming up here in a couple weeks, Randy Shaver. That's a big fundraiser for your cancer research fund.
That's right.
He was
Saturday, January 20th.
He was reading off all the wonderful sponsors for that event. We're looking forward.
You guys are playing.
Yeah, we're going to play.
Yeah.
You should probably warm up or something. I don't know. It's been a long time.
You should probably practice.
F that practice stuff. I don't need practice.
Practice? Who needs practice?
Not for pickleball. Jesus Christ, the elderly are playing pickleball. You don't have to practice for that.
Don't do any stretching. Just get out there.
Oh, I've never stretched in my life.
Neither have
and
I.
It shows.
Look out if I get my new glasses.
Oh, boy. Then you'll actually be able to see everything.
Ooh, and then get one of those sick bands that go around your head, keep them on.
Well, like a sweatband?
You should get sports goggles. That's what you should get.
I would love to wear the old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sports goggles.
But you can get those with prescription. So you should get sports goggles.
Well, that's the only preparation I might undertake before this.
The two of you should both wear sports goggles, put headbands on, tight shorts.
I want one of those
dress the same.
Yeah.
I want one of those quarterback wristbands with all our plays in it.
Yes.
I'm going to come out there looking like an elderly Bjorn Borg.
Yeah, exactly.
My shorts are going to be so short, my nads are going to be swinging around the joint.
Yeah, dress like on Semi-Pro.
Semi-Pro?
Semi-Pro.
You are so Canadian sometimes.
Yeah, I can be.
You're so friggin' Canadian. Yeah, we got the big pickleball contest coming up. Can folks, sports fans, can they just show up and watch us play?
I don't know that.
Because we draw a pretty big crowd, Randy.
I know you do. We've already had to hire security. And that's really to make sure that we get you out of the building when you're done so you don't cause any problems.
Maybe eye experts who thought we were going to get on a conversation about how your eyes work, but here we are. Explain this to me now. You were talking about the sports goggles that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar made famous and other basketball players. Explain this to me. You guys probably all remember this. James Worthy, when he was playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, he wore the sports goggles, but maybe it wasn't James Worthy. Maybe it was another. There was an NBA player who wore the goggles, but he lifted them up and put them on top of his head for free throws.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
I
can't think of who that was. Was that Worthy? It might have been Worthy.
Maybe Worthy did it. There were other not ML Carr. He played Antoine Carr, big center for the Utah Jazz. Was it Antoine Carr? Another guy that comes to mind. Anyway, there were some players who would take the goggles off for their free throw. So I wonder what was going on there. But I know nothing about how eyes work. I'm brand new to, like I said, wearing cheaters and such.
It looks like a Buck Williams.
Buck Williams. That's absolutely. Buck F. me running Williams. Great rebounder, great defender in the 70s. And he went to the finals a couple times with the Portland Trailblazers.
So it looks like he didn't wear goggles until he was elbowed in the face by Dallas Mavericks' James Donaldson.
Oh, James Donaldson was a big dude.
Yeah, in the 90 playoffs.
So it was because of an eye injury.
Ouch. Yeah.
Oh, that's all very interesting. Maybe this is just the booze talking, but people are texting in. Horace Grant
Oh, yeah. Horace Grant.
Did he lift him up off of his head when he shot his free
He might
throw?
have, yeah.
And people are
Orlando.
busting our balls. We're supposed to be calling them rec specs.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm not going along with that.
I like sports goggles.
Yeah, I'm not going along with rec specs. All right, I haven't dialed in. Back to football real quick. I haven't dialed into any of this, but a lot of people are talking about the way Jimmy Kimmel just unloaded on Karen Rodgers last night on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
I did not see it.
Have you guys followed this rivalry that's happening?
A little bit, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see or hear what Jimmy Kimmel had to say about Karen Rodgers last night on his late night show.
I recorded a clip.
But I read about it. Oh, I'd love to hear a clip.
Well, this is about, the Rodgers throwing Kimmel under the bus for the Epstein, the release of the Epstein, list of, people.
He was making allegations?
He was.
Yeah.
Well,
that Jimmy Kimmel was a pedophile?
He hinted that you would find Kimmel's name on the Epstein list.
What the hell kind of comment is that?
Here's what Kimmel had to say.
Aaron Rodgers has a very high opinion of himself. Because he had success on the football field, he believes himself to be an extraordinary being. He genuinely thinks that because God gave him the ability to throw a ball, he's smarter than everyone else. The idea that his brain is just average is unfathomable to him. He put on a magic helmet, and that G made him a genius. Aaron got 2 A's on his report card. They were both in the word Aaron, okay? If you are a member of a group that think it's okay to randomly call someone a child molester because you don't like what that person has to say, maybe you should rethink being a part of that group. And congratulations to Aaron Rodgers, who has done the impossible. He made the New York Jets look even worse.
That's well done. That's funny. This is all new to me. I'm having a good time with this. Sorry, I blew up.
I don't think that Kimmel has come out and said he's actually going to sue him, but there were certainly discussions.
That's fun.
And they work for the same company.
They do, for ABC.
Here you go. You'll get a kick out of this. You'll get a kick out of this,
Well,
too.
maybe not Rodgers, excuse me. I messed that up.
No, McAfee show,
Yeah,
though,
McAfee,
is
yes.
where Rodgers made the comment.
I got to ask you a question about that McAfee show. I don't watch it.
I don't either.
Okay.
Not a fan of it.
Maybe someone can help me. Whenever I see clips of it, there's the McAfee fella, and then usually the gas bag is sitting there with him. Who's the guy who just stares into the camera and never says a word?
Oh, Hawk, right? Yeah.
Hawk?
Yeah, he played for the Packers.
Oh,
Was,
A.J. Hawk?
A.J. Hawk, there you go.
He just kind of stares. He never says a freaking thing.
Have you seen all on the internet, people making fun of him?
No.
It's because of all this stuff, right? With the McAfee, the controversy, all that kind of stuff. People are saying, what does he do? They're realizing as they're watching these clips that he just kind of stares and has weird looks on his face.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know that was a meme. I just, all right. I got to give credit to the gas bag, though. He is funny.
Oh, he's a clever guy, for sure.
Well, I'm actually being sarcastic, but you're right, John.
He is clever.
He's so oblivious to his own nonsense that it's effing funny. Now, check this out. Even though he had nothing to do with this year's football season there with the New York Jets, someone in the media still asked him where the focus of the franchise needs to be going into the offseason. All right? And Karen more or less said that anything that doesn't have to do with winning football games needs to be eliminated. Get rid of the BS and only focus on winning football games. Now, Twitter partied pretty hard with his complete lack of self-awareness there.
Right.
My favorite text or tweet is how you say it. Somebody out there just said, bro? That's you. The guy's funny. All right, USA Today wrote this one up again, Randy Shaver. They went ahead with this one again, by God, they did. The 10 best possible Super Bowl 58 matchups ranked by watchability.
Ooh, okay.
About a month away, Super Bowl 58 in Mankato. Where the hell they play in the...
I don't think it's Mankato. I'm not sure.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
So they're ranking the 10 best matchups by watchability for those of us who don't have rooting interests. They're just looking at the best possible games with some side stories and a general idea of how good the quality of football will be.
Sure.
I'll give you the quick 10. Chiefs, Eagles, we already saw that.
Yeah, that's boring. And the Eagles aren't going to make it anyway.
Dolphins, Rams, Dolphins, San Francisco, Dolphins, Detroit, Chiefs. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not even going to read. I'll just skip to what they call the most watchable Super Bowl matchup. Yes, Randy.
I actually think Baltimore, San Francisco would be a very watchable game.
Baltimore, San Francisco.
Those are the two best teams right now, the two number one seeds.
Well, Randy Shaver, then you are in line with the folks at USA Today because they also picked the Baltimore Raven and the San Francisco 49er as the most watchable. All of these are incorrect. The only answer to this question is Detroit Lions, Cleveland Browns.
That would be awesome because neither has ever made it to the Super Bowl.
Nope.
That's the one I'm hoping for.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely perfect to see those two clubs, those two fan bases come absolutely undone.
And, anything's possible. So you can't sit here and say, well, that'll never happen. Anything's possible. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. So, Cleveland's defense is tremendous. The Lions' offense is very good. But they both have, I think, glaring weaknesses that, cause people to hesitate on whether they're good enough to make it to the Super Bowl.
Cleveland Browns. I'm a fan. Friggin' John Elway, man.
Yeah.
If John Elway would have played baseball, Bernie Kosar would have won 2 Super Bowls with the Cleveland Browns.
Probably, yes.
And Biner crossed the plane.
Yes.
In the 87 AFC title game. He crossed the plane. You Browns fans know what I'm talking about. But Lions and Browns, imagine the mayhem. Of course, the sad fact is that regular fans don't get to go to the Super Bowl anymore because tickets cost $75,000 for the last seat in the house. But just knowing...
Just the fact that they both made it.
The bars and house parties in Cleveland and Detroit, there'd be no survivors.
Yeah, that'd be great. A couple of NFL notes that I forgot to mention yesterday that I thought were interesting. One involves the Eagles. Did you know that they're the first team in NFL history to start 10-1 and not reach 12 wins?
Oh, really?
Huh. The first team to ever do that. And also, the first team in NFL history, the Carolina Panthers, the first team to never lead a game in the fourth quarter of an entire season. I thought that was fascinating.
That is.
They did not lead for 1 second in the fourth quarter of 17 games in the regular season.
That's a good time right there.
That's bad football.
Oh, boy. All right, well, let me hear your take on this. You mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles. So Deadspin.com wrote up a little something, and then we'll get the hell away from football here for a little while. Deadspin.com wrote up the 5 biggest frauds of the NFL season. The 5 biggest Josh, frauds.
Oh, I was just going to ask you.
Not frogs.
That didn't make any sense to me.
All right. And here are your choices, Randy. You tell me who, in your mind, amongst these 5, maybe you have an alternate answer, but amongst these 5, who are the biggest frauds of the NFL season? Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, the Philadelphia Eagles, my favorite NFL coach, Sean Payton, or the Miami Dolphins. Is that an easy one?
I would say of the 5 you mentioned, I would put the Eagles number 1 because the stat I just gave.
Right.
I would put Sean Payton number 2.
Oh. I love that friggin' guy.
Yeah. Talks a big game, did a lot of stuff. Denver did make a run, but that team's a mess right now. I'm sure he'll figure it out. He's a very good coach. I'm sorry, I forget the other choices.
Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
Miami Dolphins.
I put Trevor Lawrence 3.
Mm-hmm.
I put Miami 4, and I put Josh Allen 5. I just think Josh Allen, for as many things as he's done, some of the struggles, turnover struggles he had this year, he also is, he led them to the number 2 seed. He's a dynamic player. So
the Buffalo Bills got the number 2 seed.
Yeah, they beat Miami to earn the number 2 seed. Yeah,
I can't wait for them to lose. Someone tell Dana I said that.
Porcelain Punisher
Maybe
Jesus.
that's why Dana's out this week.
He didn't want the trash talk about his favorite quarterback.
Yeah, and maybe he's resting up for Sunday's noon game against the Steelers.
Porcelain Punisher Jesus checked in, and he said he did understood this time, Nick, that you said frauds, but he is interested in the top 5 biggest frogs as well. Like what, Kermit? Any other famous frogs out there?
Well, the Budweiser frogs.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
This CW television frog, isn't that a thing?
Sure.
Or the channel? Isn't there a local frog television character?
Boy, I don't know.
Yeah,
Someone,
you're right.
Yeah, there's
you're right.
Okay. Wow.
What about Hypnotoad?
I don't know Hypnotoad.
From Family Guy?
Oh, Super Thunder Frog.
Oh, Super Thunder Frog, absolutely.
He's number 1 on the list.
Yeah, I don't know Hypnotoad, but that's a pretty good. We might be missing an obvious one.
What about Frogger?
Frogger, the video game.
Does he have a name?
Oh, what about the cereal frog? Who's the frog that sold cereal for a while?
Yeah.
Was it Snap?
Yeah, I don't know.
It like Snaps?
You got to look
Well,
that
Honey Smack is that was the cereal, right? Did he have a name?
Honey Smack. I think that's it.
And I think there was a frog in one of the Cheech and Chong movies.
Here we go. The Diggum Frog.
Diggum. He's the one who sold cereal.
Yeah.
Boy, the Pigs are still missing a key player or two, and they're trying to get by.
They're missing more than 2, but yes.
They're trying to get by and pick up some points until they get healthy again, but it hasn't been working out well lately.
No, not lately.
At home last night versus all-time great defenseman Ryan Suter and the Dallas Stars, the Pigs got shut smooth out, 4-0.
I'll have to. My sons went to the game. I'll have to ask them, but people were texting today saying they were booing Suter. The crowd was booing him.
Oh, for God's sake.
Of course.
It's just ridiculous. A goaltender for Dallas named Matt Murrah got his first career NHL shutout last night. And here's the twist on last night's game that might have earned the boys some extra laps at the next practice. Dallas scored 2 shorthanded goals in the hockey game.
Oh, boy.
Oofda.
Not good.
So,
wasn't Flower going for like the second place all-time win category for goalies last night?
Yep, he was looking to pass Patrick Waugh for second place. He didn't get her done. Our pal Marcus Foligno was back in the mix, but still, no old Phil, the goalie. Not that he would have played last night anyway, but Jonas Brodin, Spurgeon, the Russian kid are all still on the shelf. It's one of those home-and-home deals. The Pigs are at Dallas tomorrow night. And Golden Gopher hockey. They got to win.
Oh, Golden Gopher hockey.
Brought to you by...
How about Snuggerud last night?
Oh,
he had the hat trick last night after coming back from the World Juniors.
I think he scored 5 goals in the first 2 games he's been back from Sweden.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
6-2, they beat Colorado College.
Sniper.
Well, that was his dad's nickname, and I'm guessing Jimmy's got the same nickname. God help us. They beat Colorado College 6-2. If you like cute dogs and such, and the Edmonton Oilers, there's a video out there for you. The Oilers recently held a skills competition for fans at their rink. Kind of interesting. A mid-season skills competition? That sounds like a good way for guys to get hurt. But I don't really fully understand what they were doing at the home rink. But players brought their dogs out onto the ice. And the highlight of the evening was something called the Rough Relay, where players' dogs got the chance to run from the goal crease to the opposing blue line as quickly as possible. Is this video up on our website? Can we do that?
We'll send it. Well, I sent it to Ashley, but she's obviously not here today, so
I'll get it up.
Wapo can handle that.
Excuse me, Wapo?
I'll get it up. Don't worry. Just give me some time.
At your age, it doesn't surprise.
If you think this kind of stuff is cute, you might be excited to learn that Connor McDavid, I think that's the first name, Conrad, his dog won the inaugural relay they did last year, but he wanted no part of it this time around. There's a funny video where the dog walks out onto the ice and says, "Forget this," and he runs on out of there. He wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So it was a player for the Oilers by the name of Cody Ceci. His French bulldog is how you say it, walked away with the trophy. And when we get the video up there, you might get a kick out of it.
It's pretty cute.
Cops are investigating a fight at the Anaheim Ducks home rink. Not really much of a fight. Some dorks wearing hockey sweaters wrestled each other around the concourse until one of them hit his head on the floor and was knocked out cold.
That is up online.
Cops have had to go ahead and investigate this one because the dude got hurt. The dude who hit the floor went to the hospital with a head injury. Nice work, boys.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Oh, Christ, there was also a football fight.
By the two oldest football fans in the history of football.
I forgot to mention this. You can almost always count on over-the-hill, overweight, oversized children pooping their pants and getting into terrible-looking fistfights at NFL games this year. So there's also video going around of two dumbbells throwing wrinkled hands at each other outside of the Tennessee Titans game on Sunday. So I suppose if you're into that kind of thing, we can throw that up on our website if it's not already there.
I'll get it up.
Stop it, Wally.
I love when they almost just eat it when they trip on the curb or something like that.
Oh, yeah, in this football video, a guy kind of gets sent reeling, and then his beer belly causes him to lose his center of balance, and he kind of tight ropes the curb for a while, but then his body, and he goes down.
And what a mismatch. I mean, one of the guys is like 6 inches or 7 inches taller than the other guy.
Yeah, one of them looked like Barry Windham, and the other, for you old wrestling fans, the other guy was built more like Jimmy Hart. Again, for old wrestling fans. Word is that a comment or two about a woman's set this fight off, Randy Shaver. Someone said something about somebody's lady.
Always a woman.
Can't be saying stuff like that. Said that about my lady? All right, the Timberwolves are in terrible Orlando, Florida tonight for a scheduled regular season game against the Magic.
Okay. Magic are decent, right?
Oh, I thought they were better than decent. Well,
I think they're let's see, they're 5 right now in the East, at 21-15. So
they beat the Denver Nuggets a game or two ago.
Yeah,
Orlando did. They got a second-year player down there by the name of Paolo Banchero. I know I saw him play last year.
He's really good.
I'm sure I'm saying the name
out of Duke. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying his name incorrectly, but I watched him. He was the rookie of the year.
You said it right.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Over the last 3 games, he's averaging 36 points.
Yeah, he's having a great year.
Wolves better play some defense tonight. And they got the 2 local kids, right?
Suggs
and Holmgren.
Well, Holmgren plays for Oklahoma City.
Oh, for God's sake, right. Wasn't he drafted by Orlando?
I don't think so.
Why did I want to think he was in Orlando? That's right, Holmgren's with Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
Suggs is.
Yeah.
So they
both
better
went
play
to high school together, but yes.
They better play some defense by damn tonight.
Yep.
What is this now? This is news to me. A listener just texted in and said that Ja Morant is out for the season?
He is. He has a shoulder injury that he's lost for the year.
Oh, my F.
It wouldn't have mattered. Memphis is so bad right now.
Well, I thought he had him kind of coming around.
Yeah.
Because as big of a wacko as he is, I mean, he's one hell of a player.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, what did he miss? The first 25 games of the year? And then came back and...
Oh, no. He's out for the season. Oh, no. He's just going to get himself in trouble again, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
God dang it.
I was wondering that myself.
You can't give a guy like that downtime. That's unbelievable.
Tore his shoulder. Ouch.
Anyone texting in? Oh, people were texting in about famous frogs. Josh was asking about famous frogs. Now, first off, they say that the CW television frog's name is Michigan the Frog. Is that
really
accurate? Michigan the Frog?
Look that up.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Michigan J. Frog.
And then you know who else we're forgetting? Randy, you should have been there for this one. I told you we needed you to be good today.
Okay.
And you've been pretty strong. But you should have came up with this one because...
What's that?
because this was probably a hot song when you were a 7th grader. Jeremiah was
a bullfrog. Yes.
What band? Go!
Red Dog Night.
Well, you're close. 3 Dog Night.
3 Dog Night. Sorry.
That's a long song. I think it's called Joy to the World. Is that?
Yeah, Joy to the World. That's right.
I've been at karaoke bars where some dudes decided to sing that sumbitch in its entirety. Joy to the World by 3 Dog Night. How long of a song is that?
You probably can have dinner during that song.
Yes. Can you look that up?
I'm trying to pull it up so we can play it.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. It's a long one. All right, so we'll watch the Wolves tonight in stinking Orlando. And aren't we lucky? Draymond Green says that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver talked him out of retirement. Oh, wouldn't that have been a damn shame if...
I had a conversation with Adam Silver, commissioner of our league, and I just told him, Adam, it's too much for me. It's too much. This is too much. It's all becoming too much for me, and I'm going to retire. And Adam said, you're making a very rash decision, and I won't let you do that.
It's all too much for me?
It's too much.
Dude, you kick players in their penis and choke them out and sucker punch them. I'm sorry that your behavior has caused you so much stress. That's terrible. It's all too much for me, Commissioner Silver. I just can't take it.
Well, all I'll say is this. I kind of look at myself sometimes as a savvy NBA season-long fantasy person.
Sure.
And I picked up Draymond Green in about 3 different teams. I think he's going to come back and play great basketball. And I think he's going to, I know I'm going to be probably wrong about this, but I think he's going to change the way he is. And I think he's going to be very good for Golden State the rest of the way.
Well, I hope someone kicks him in the penis.
So I'm banking on that.
So I looked up Joy to the World,
Joy to the World.
Night, and
how long?
It's like 3 minutes long.
What? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a bunch of different versions. I stole it from KQ, their library. So I thought, well, maybe they just have a shortened version, but I'm looking on YouTube.
I must be thinking of a different song. Then I'm sorry I blew up. It was a different early 70s song that someone murdered us with one night at karaoke. I thought it was Joy to the World.
Maybe it just felt like it went on forever.
There's songs like that, right?
God dang it. What was I thinking of? Did you smoke pot through a pop can while listening to this song?
Yeah, Wapple, this is your kind of song, man.
I always heard stories. Yeah. I heard stories that Metallica, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, name all the hardest partying bands, Van Halen. Yeah. I heard none of them could hold a candle to what the hell 3 Dog Night did after, really honestly, that these guys were just blasted out of their effing minds. Yeah. They didn't even know what the hell end was up when they were on their tear in the 70s. But there you go. All right, Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
Thank you very much.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The NFL playoffs are here, and it all starts on January 13th with Super Wildcard Weekend.
Give me everything you got!
12 teams, 6 games, 3 days, and one epic weekend that kicks off with a Saturday doubleheader, followed by a Sunday tripleheader, and ends with a Wild Card Monday.
Unbelievable!
The road to Super Bowl 58 starts now. Super Wild Card Weekend presented by Verizon. Visit NFL.com/schedule for ways to watch.
You're listening to the radio. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
That's ridiculous. I hear you, though. I do. What a day it's been. We're short Dana and Ashley this morning on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Both of them at home sick. Ain't that something?
We're broadcasting from an infirmary or something.
Yeah.
Those germs are going around, I guess.
Here's the deal. We've been on and off talking about sick days today. Yeah, you know, when you're a kid, sometimes you faked it so you could stay home and have some real fun while all the other suckers were in school. We got some text messages on it, up and down, a little bit earlier on in the program. You want to hear a story? Just real quick, back to the sick day topic, and then we're going to move on. Who is this? God dang it, I wish I would have saved the name. A listener texted in. I don't know who it is now. I accidentally eliminated their name. But the story goes like this. In January 1986, I was homesick with strep throat. I was probably in 8th grade. I was watching The Price is Right on television when they cut to a live launching of the space shuttle, and I thought, cool, what timing? Only to watch the Challenger explode on live TV while sick in bed.
Oh, man.
Dude. I remember that day very well. I was a 9th grader when that happened.
I was in 6th grade. I remember that too. We were all watching in school. Teacher talked about it. It was shocking.
I was completely oblivious to it altogether. We certainly didn't have any TVs set up in school to watch it. And I was completely oblivious that there was going to be a space shuttle launch. That's not something I followed at all as a 15-year-old kid.
They didn't cover it in science or anything? It was like our science class.
No. If they did, I have no memory. What I do remember as I was sitting in the gym locker room preparing for gym class, preparing for domination for the most part, gym class. That was my best class. And all of a sudden, everyone came pouring into the locker room, ranting up and down about this space shuttle. And I said, well, what in God's name are you guys talking about? That's pretty interesting. This individual was just preparing for a regular old 1986 sick day and watched it on TV. Jesus. All right, something else you might want to do with a sick day is go on out and see a motion picture or stay home and dial up a movie. Here we are in the year 20 plus 24. And these are apparently the most anticipated movies of this new year. The most anticipated movies. You guys go out and see a picture now and again.
I don't, but I do watch them at home on the weekends.
That's right. You like to watch them at home.
I saw Top Gun Maverick in the theater, and before that, I mean, eliminating the pandemic, right? Before that, it'd been years even before the pandemic.
None of us run out very often to the theater, although I took the advice of Wapple and Dana and went and saw a movie recently, and it sucked. Thanks for nothing.
I thought it was amazing.
I don't know. I think you're too endeared. That's not the word. You're too
passionate about wrestling?
Yeah. I think that clouded your judgment of the movie The Iron Claw. It was just so poorly done.
Oh, I loved it.
The story of the Von Erichs, and don't get me wrong, I love the story. They just didn't do it right. So here are the most anticipated movies of 20 plus 24. Starting out with Mean Girls.
Sure, I've seen a lot on that one.
So this will be an adaptation of the 20 plus 18 Broadway musical. It's going to be a musical.
Yep.
I catch bits and pieces of that movie all the time. It's always on television. There's a channel that I have on my cable setup that always spins Mean Girls. And you know I love that Lindsay Lohan like crazy. So I'll stick around and watch some of that. The new one, yeah, I probably will have little to do with it. But Mean Girls.
I probably won't watch it either, but I really did enjoy the movie. And I think Tina Fey is one of the funniest people in Hollywood.
All the trailers for this new one, it seems exactly like the old Mean Girls.
You got a problem with that?
Yeah, I kind of do.
What do you mean?
You think that they change some things up, but it looks like they don't change many things up at all.
Well, it's a musical this time around.
So that's
singing
the
and
only
dancing.
thing that changed.
Well, that's okay. Okay.
I'm not really into musicals, so I'll probably pass, but...
Yeah, I don't think we should worry too much about this one, Wapple. I think you'll be all right. Another coming out this year, movie, I guess a biopic on the life of Bob Marley called Bob Marley, One Love. I never got into Bob Marley's music. I never got into reggae. To be totally honest with you, reggae is one of my least favorite styles of music, but I love a good biopic on a musician. So I would imagine that if I get the chance, I'll go ahead with this.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Bob Marley. Just that he smokes weed.
That's all you know about?
Smokes weed
but
from
here's the
Jamaica.
deal is, I mean, I never really gave too much of a rip about certain bands until I saw their story told from start to finish, and it's given me a great appreciation of some bands that I usually wouldn't have paid too much attention to. A good example of that, although I did like their music when I was a kid, Duran Duran. I like their music. You couldn't deny them. They were everywhere when I was a 5th, 6th, 7th grader. You couldn't cross the street without hearing a Duran Duran song. So I liked them, but I was never really a big fan. I saw a movie about their story, a biopic, whatever the proper term is, a couple years ago on HBO or Showtime, and it made me a fan. So maybe this Bob Marley story will do that for us.
I feel the same way about the Wham documentary on Netflix. I appreciated those guys, certainly, and some of their songs I liked. But after watching that, especially Andrew Ridgeley, I'm a huge fan. He's the nicest. He's the guy you want to have as a friend. There's never been a better friend than Andrew Ridgeley. What a supportive guy.
That's a great example.
So I've become a bigger fan because of that.
And I remember when I think we both saw it over the same weekend or something, and we agreed that everyone on earth should pray that someday they'll have a friend as loyal as Andrew F. Me Runnin' Ridgeley.
What a good dude.
Yes. Dune Part 2. Never got involved in Dune.
I enjoy those movies, and I understand why some people don't. They're a little slow. So I am looking for... this list, by the way, is in order of release. So
it is?
Yeah, January 12th, February 14th, and now Dune, March 1st. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I was disappointed in Dune Part 1 because I thought they didn't finish the movie. I guess I'll be waiting until the new one comes out.
Speaking of Dune Part 1, wasn't that mid-'80s?
Well, yeah, there was a Dune then. Dune Part 1, it came out, I don't know, Timothée Chalamet 2 years ago, maybe? I can't remember when that first came out.
All right. Dune Part 2. As we're rolling through the most anticipated movies of 20 plus 24, here comes the Ghostbusters again. This one is called Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, coming out March 29th. Now, I haven't gotten involved in any of the Ghostbusters movies since the original.
You saw the second one, didn't you?
No.
Oh, really?
Never saw it.
Oh, I thought the second one was very good.
So, you guys tell me, what do you think of the current Ghostbusters operation?
I didn't... The very last one, I watched the most recent one. I was a little disappointed. They had said, oh, yeah, some of the originals are going to be back, and they were barely in it. It was okay.
It does say here, Cubby, Ghostbusters, Frozen Umpire. No, that would be a baseball term. Frozen Empire. The originals, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson will be in this movie. And they're missing, of course, Henry Howard Harold Ramis, who passed away.
I hope they... Harold Ramis they had him back in the last one, the Afterlife. So, they had like some archival footage or something, but hopefully they're in more of this one than they were the last one.
Go ahead, Wapple, your deep thoughts on Ghostbusters.
I didn't see the newest one. And I think I've only seen one Ghostbusters movie.
The original?
Yeah, I was never really into it.
The original,
man.
The original is still a riot.
Love it.
After all these years, it's still a riot. All right, another genre of movies that I don't take a great interest in is the big fighting creatures stomping around the earth and having epic battles. But for those of you who dig it, on April 12th, you can see something called Godzilla X Kong. Is that meant to say versus?
I think so, but maybe not.
Godzilla Kong, the New Empire. Another epic battle between Godzilla and King Damn Kong.
Yeah, I'm not into those really either.
They're still not over it?
No.
Still fighting each other.
They can't let it go. They can't let it effing go.
Yeah, those guys, they've had it's longer than Peter and the Chicken from Family Guy, this rivalry.
It's like Kevin Garnett and Glenn Taylor. They can't drop it. They can't let it go.
They take down whole cities.
It's like the Earnhardts and the Waltrips. They just can't let it go. The Fall Guy. They're cutting loose a Fall Guy movie May 3rd. Again, for you 80s people who remember effing what's-his-nuts who got all the ass back in the day.
I loved the original Fall Guy.
Lee Majors, the original Fall... No, not... Wait a minute. Who the hell was the Fall Guy? Lee Majors? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a friend of mine was named after him. His mom has a crush on him.
Okay, I thought I had gone wrong there, but I was lined up properly.
Yeah, Lee Majors.
Lee Majors played the Fall Guy back in the 80s. He was
Heather Thomas.
I mean, Lee Majors was such an incredible pimp. So they're reimagining the Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling as an over-the-hill stuntman, of course, with a sweet name, Colt Seavers.
That is a cool name.
He finds himself working on a movie directed by his ex-girlfriend. So I don't know where they're going with this, if this is supposed to be a comedy or what the hell, but...
I think more action, but action comedy, but it looks great.
It does?
All the trailers I've been seeing, it looks very funny.
It does look entertaining.
But you liked The Iron Claw, and that movie's a pile of garbage.
Yeah, and I like Get Out.
Oh, don't you start with me on Get Out. All right, the Planet of the Apes is still cooking. May 24th, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The fourth installment of the most recent Planet of the Apes franchise.
I liked a couple of those.
I remember the original from when I was a little kid with, what was his name, Charlton Heston? Do I have the right guy?
Yeah, I've never actually seen the full original. I've seen parts of it.
I remember, the original's fun because it's just so odd and, I mean, it's good. It's just, more or less, it's just so odd that it draws you in. I do remember seeing one of the Planet of the Apes films from the last 20-some years where Mark Wahlberg falls out of the sky and it was absolutely brutally bad.
Yeah, he was in at least one of them. I'm trying to remember. It was a later one that I liked. I can't remember which one it was.
The one where Wahlberg comes out the sky, that was a suck fest. Bad Boys 4, Cubby.
I never saw the third even. I think I'm over it. I'm over Will Smith. You didn't see the third one either, did you?
I was hoping we wouldn't bring that up.
Oh, okay.
But you and I were so excited for Bad Boys 3, whatever the Bad Boys 3, Still Bad, or whatever that episode was called. We were both so excited about it and talked a lot of trash about it on the air, and then neither one of us ever went to see it. I will try, because I love Martin Lawrence so damn much. You're over Will Smith?
I am. I do love Martin Lawrence as well. Obviously, he's awesome.
Which is something when you say you're over Will Smith, because when we first became tight 20-some years ago, you love Will Smith.
He was one of my favorite actors, for sure.
He's gotten a little different, hasn't he?
He's not the guy that it seemed like he used to be.
All right, more on the most anticipated movies of 20 plus 24. What do you say one way or the other about A Quiet Place Day 1?
Oh, those are okay.
Never saw them.
I saw one of them, and I didn't think much of it.
I mean, it's slow.
This is the third movie in the Quiet Place franchise, another prequel. Okay? That's June 28th. Sorry, I keep forgetting to. I'm going to forget to say the date, so just look it up.
Do your own research.
It's not my. You're not my problem. You can do your own friggin' research and find out when these stupid movies are coming. Ryan Reynolds is back with the Deadpool setup.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Never saw it.
I love those movies. I love that guy.
Deadpool. You guys love it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's for you. I mean, you might like that it's extremely violent, and I don't think you're much of a Ryan Reynolds fan, are you?
Well,
it's very Ryan Reynolds, so if you get annoyed by him, you're not going to like it.
I don't mind the guy. I'm still kind of mad at him because, what was that character he played?
Van Wilder?
Van Wilder was such a stupid, idiotic, stupid movie.
Oh, except for the pastry scene, I thought that was a great movie.
I hated his guts the first time I saw him in a movie, and that first time was Van Wilder. I thought, all this guy's doing is trying to be Jim Carrey. But I've let that go. I've seen him in a couple of things where I really liked him. I couldn't tell you what the movies were called. There was one where he was... I couldn't tell you, but I'm not mad at Ryan Reynolds. Well, still, like I said, a little bit mad because I hated Van Wilder so much. Beetlejuice Part 2.
Awesome.
Never saw it.
You never saw the first one?
No.
Really? Oh, man, that's got to be one of my favorite movies.
I know you love it. So it says here, I do know, some things about it. You can't help it. On Halloween, it's always popping up on television. Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara will return. This is the sequel from the original all the way back in 1988. All right. I don't get involved in Batman. Here's one coming out called Joker. Folie à deux. I'm serious.
if you watched, I'd be interested to know for folks that watch Joker, if you watched it, would you know and didn't know, like you just said, here's a movie, and you're familiar with Batman, all that kind of stuff. Somebody said, here's a movie, watch this movie. Would you know it was part of the Batman universe? I don't think I would have liked it had I not known that.
Okay.
Joker. It was so different than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love other people's opinions on it, what they thought when they watched it.
I saw the one where he kills Jack Nicholson at the end or something. I don't know how long ago that was. I don't. Joaquin Phoenix. He can be really good. There's no doubt about that. Okay, but I just don't get into the comic book movies.
It's dark.
Venom Part 3.
I need to see the second one. I like the first one.
Never saw it. Mufasa, the Lion King. I don't get involved in that. Is that
Lion King's so good.
Kids cartoon movie? The Lion King? More kid stuff. Sonic the Hedgehog Part 3. Come on.
I was kind of miserable that I had to watch that. Not that I had to, but that my son, my youngest son, wanted to watch the first one, and I thought, oh man, I like Jim Carrey, but I don't want to watch this movie. It's good, and I heard the second one's even better. I think that's my son's favorite movie.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
The second one, yeah.
Really? His favorite movie.
But I did like the first one.
And finally on this list of movies coming out in 20 plus 24, but you got to look the date up yourself. This one might get you going. Gladiator, Part F Me Running 2.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Excited for that one.
This is the story. Wait a minute. Do I have the right movie? Gladiator. What's his name again? Russell Crowe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me if I have this right. This will be the story of his son?
Yep.
Because you just said his name a minute ago and I forgot it. Russell Crowe. He gets killed.
Maxis Aurelius.
Right. And this will be the story of his son, who I'm guessing has got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Wouldn't you think?
I'd assume so.
Speaking of Joaquin Phoenix, he was so great as the bad guy in the original Gladiator. I wanted him dead from the opening scene.
Oh, yeah. He was awesome as a bad. I hated him.
I wanted him
so
dead.
Good.
I wanted his family dead. His pets dead.
Gladiator 2, Denzel Washington. He's going to be Pedro Pascal.
Denzel Washington?
Yeah. Digimon Hansu. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
He's back?
That guy's a monster.
Yeah, I like that.
He's so cut right now.
I like that stinking... Oh, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. People are telling me that in Gladiator, his son is dead, too. So how does he come back and make Gladiator Part 2? Maybe there must have been some other kid running around. Those gladiators got a lot of side ass. You know what I mean? There must have been some other offspring running around that now is going to be starring in Gladiator 2. You know what I'm saying?
You're probably right.
Some side piece.
Shoot, that movie's coming up on like 24 years old. I can't believe that.
That's still one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, I can see why. Absolutely.
Did you almost say that's still one of my all-time favorite movies of all time?
Yeah, it was about to.
Well, you get excited.
I wish you would have.
The guy gets excited.
Yep.
He doubles up sometimes because of his excitement. Well, I think that The Iron Claw is one of the worst movies of all time that I've seen of all time. You and I are never going to agree on that. Just because what's his nuts, Josh, the young kid in that movie who's so cut.
Zac Efron?
Just because Zac Efron learned how to run the ropes doesn't mean it was a good movie, Wapple. God's sake.
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
God, do I have to use the bathroom. Absolutely unbelievable how badly I have to use. Before we get out of here, we were just talking about the big exciting movies coming out in the new year of 24. Before we get out of here, and by the way, while we were having that conversation about the movies coming out this year, we did talk about there's going to be a remake, a re-imaging of Mean Girls, where they turned it into a musical. Got a text from UPS Golden Valley Delivery. Jesus. Wapple was very concerned about the remake of Mean Girls.
He was.
UPS Golden Valley Delivery Jesus says, Wapple's really bringing his game today. You don't get Mean Girl breakdowns like that anywhere else. You're very concerned of, you want the plot, or you want some changes in the new, you don't want it to be just like the old Mean Girl. You want there to be a new spin on Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. Never heard you come off like that before. You're very upset. All right, but speaking of movies, before we get out of here, you know what else I bumped into? This is something that I could really get excited about. The top 5 prison movies. Oh, I love a good prison movie. There's something about the simplicity of a prison movie plot, usually. Usually it's maybe a cast of characters just trying to get out, or a cast of characters rivaling against another. There's a simplicity to prison movies that I really enjoy. And, I mean, for whatever reason, that's just one of my favorite styles of movie. I don't know who this was that only put together a top 5.
I think Dana just looked these up.
Dana?
Yeah.
Never heard of the guy.
Well, it's been a while since he's been here.
Been a while. Top 5 prison movies ever. You guys also like that vibe of movie?
I do.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here's what they went with. At number 5, they went with Escape from Alcatraz from 1979.
Never saw it.
Clint Eastwood, if I remember correctly, and it's an excellent movie. Absolutely excellent. You should try it. Do you like Clint Eastwood, you guys?
Yeah, I like
of course.
him a lot.
Definitely.
If you haven't tried the 1979 Escape from Alcatraz, it's terrific.
It's on my list.
There you go.
You're on my list.
Ooh, I just made a list.
Number 4 is The Rock.
I loved The Rock.
From 1996. Refresh my memory. Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery.
That's right.
Was that the one they put the green balls in the dude's mouth?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I remember in the mouth, but it was the green balls were a part of it. Ed Harris, he's in that one.
All right. We've discussed this movie before, and I went to a drive-in movie theater one night with a lady, and I believe we went to see The Rock at the drive-in, and we spent most of the movie fondling each other. I haven't tried it since. I remember it being very over-the-top, dramatic explosions and just massive catastrophes. Am I close at all to The Rock?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Michael Bay movie. You're going to get a lot of that. I don't know if it'll hold up. Maybe it's maybe it was cheesy then and I didn't realize it, but I would like to watch that again. I really enjoyed that one.
I'm kind of surprised to see that in the top 5 prison movies. Number 3 is something I don't believe I've ever watched, never saw it, never even heard of. A prison movie called Hunger from the year 2008. Anybody?
No. I mean, if you want to talk about a prison movie that I think was from 2008, the movie Felon.
Dude.
I loved Felon. I think if you like prison movies, it'd be one worth seeing. Val Kilmer, Stephen Dorff is in that one.
You are absolutely correct. You and I have always seen eye to eye on that film. If you haven't heard of it, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know.
I don't know if it was in theaters very long.
Yeah, it didn't become a very big deal, but somehow both Josh and I stumbled upon that movie called Felon. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. It's dark. It's terrible. You feel awful. You feel lonely. You feel trapped when you're watching the story of this Stephen Dorff character who ends up going to prison, and it's very violent, and he shacks up. He becomes cellmates with this Val Kilmer character. I think it's Val Kilmer's greatest performance. Well, okay, I should take that back. His greatest performance is in Tombstone, but it's one of Val Kilmer's greatest performances. Nice one, Cubby. Felon. Number 2, the Shawshank situation. What the hell? The Shawshank Redemption.
Wow, I'm surprised that's not 1.
No, it's not. And for good reason, because number 1 is Cool Hand Luke. Cool Hand Luke, absolutely one of the greatest movies ever made from 1967. So I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to be cute, but Cool Hand Luke deserves to be number 1. If you don't know it, you've been missing out. Paul Newman, absolutely tops.
Green Mile.
Yeah,
some folks
Mile.
really like the Green Mile.
I thought it was good. You didn't like it?
No. I'm just saying it. I shouldn't have said it that way. A lot of folks really like the Green Mile, and it's a tough one. The Green Mile. It's tough. That big guy. He's a nice guy. If I were to throw in a couple personal choices for prison movies, one is a comedy, And I've bugged you guys about this before.
Oh, the Longest Yard remake with Adam Sandler. You
son of a
that
bitch
one.
bastard. Well, I would go along with the original Longest Yard. The original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds is, I'll always love that movie. Absolutely love that movie. But where I was going to go, I was planning on mentioning the original Longest Yard, but where I was going originally was a comedy called Let's Go to Prison.
Oh, I never watched that.
It's really, really funny, and I did not expect it to be. The main character is played by, his name is Dax
Shepard?
Dax Shepard.
Oh, yeah, Will Arnett's in that one, Bob Odenkirk.
And that, I don't know who's who, but the cellmates, it's Dax Shepard and some other actor. They're very, very funny together. Some of you know this already, but if you don't, Let's Go to Prison.
I liked Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
I just absolutely love Gene Wilder. He's one of my favorite actors of all time.
And no one can argue with Gene Wilder was a friggin' genius. But
yeah, whenever he teams up with Richard Pryor, too, you know it's going to be a good time.
I don't know. Wampo, I hate to sit here and argue with you about movies all day long, but I also love Gene Wilder. The man was brilliant. But that's one of those movies where when I was 10, I thought it was wildly funny. I watched it as a grown person, and I said to myself, what the hell was I laughing at?
I still love it. Oh,
some
the Woman
folks
in Red.
Some folks are calling American History X a prison movie. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you categorize it as a prison movie, that is an excellent movie.
That is a great movie, although I can't watch that curb scene. I have to fast forward through that. Awful.
We were just talking about Martin Lawrence a few minutes ago. Life.
I didn't see that one either.
I have a soft spot for that one. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy spend their entire life in a workhouse-style prison in the 1920s or something. I have a soft spot for that movie. I know it didn't impress many, but I do like that one. There's plenty. There's plenty out there.
Did you see The Escape Plan?
No, I never did. Wasn't that Stallone
and Schwarzenegger?
No, I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I'd hoped. I thought, these guys are going to be in a movie together. It's going to be awesome. And that wasn't all that great. But they made a few of them, so I guess people like them.
Dude, speaking of Stallone, you know what I did last night after the football game was over?
What's that?
Like earlier, Josh and I had to admit to our listening audience that we never got around to seeing Bad Boys Part 3. I don't like admitting things like that. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence never got around. I never have seen Rambo Last Blood. I've never seen the ending of the movie. Last night, I watched the ending of Rambo Last Blood, and I'm a different person than I was yesterday.
Dude.
I'm a different person than I was yesterday, man. Rambo movies just do it for me.
Me too. I'm kind of shocked you didn't watch that one right away. That's one I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to watch.
But I got her done.
Although technically I did wait until it was on demand. So I could wait until it was on demand.
Yes.
But as soon as that came out on demand, I rented that.
It all makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they're talking about not making another one, but I'd be okay with them making another one.
Oh, God.
Why not?
Go ahead.
Wishing a very happy and naughty birthday to She Loves Her Wine and Liquor Jesus from her man, I'm Her Liquor 18-wheeler Australian Kiss Jesus.
What the hell's going on here?
Maybe I should have looked up Australian Kiss to see if we can say that. Happy 61st birthday to Keith from your little bro, Ski-Doo 600 Jesus. As we've mentioned a few times this morning, every January 9th, it's National Law Enforcement Day, or Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, a day designed to appreciative civilians thank the men and women in blue who put their lives on the line every day for our communities, and the brother and sisterhood checked in with some appreciation of their own. I know I'm missing some. Our texts go so fast sometimes I can't keep up, so I apologize if I miss yours. Ford Fixer Jesus sent in his appreciation to Coffee of the Cottage Grove Police Department. Love that Danhausen Jesus. Text a shout out to Derek and the rest of the Cambridge PD, as well as the state troopers and Iceni County Sheriffs. I'd like to thank my brother and cousin, both officers in the Twin Cities, as well as Nate, Roger, Luke, and Aaron of Egan, Kyle, Gordon, Matt, and Eric of the State Patrol. Seen Clean Jesus text in his shout out to his brothers and sisters in law enforcement today as well. So a sincere thank you for what you do from your friends here at 93X. Happy National Law Enforcement Day. Before we get out of here, text ICE, I-C-E, ICE, to 651-989-9393. That gives you a shot to win tickets to the Minnesota Wild versus Philadelphia Flyers game Friday at the XL Energy Center, furnished by the Minnesota Wild.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.